Partners.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 71 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. A man has died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. It happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving that tractor near Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over, and Pranowicz was pinned underneath the right rear tire. Right now, state police are investigating the incident. Dave Parker has died. Legendary Pittsburgh Pirates spent 11 years in Pittsburgh from 1973 to 1983, winning the World Series in 1979, also an MVP award, and 2 batting titles back-to-back. Parker was nicknamed the Cobra and was part of that inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class of 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown next month. Pirates owner Bob Nutting released a statement saying that Parker had, quote, a big personality, and his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker was 74 years old. Even though the 4th of July holiday is about 5 days away, travel experts have already declared that the holiday is underway. Here's News Radio KDKA's Paul Alexander.
Experts say more than 72 million people will travel more than 50 miles away from home between June 28th and July 6th. Jim Garrity with AAA says if you're flying or driving, it's a good idea to give yourself plenty of time. Now, if you're driving,
running late, it puts a cloud over your judgment, and it makes you more prone to things like distracted driving and road rage and aggressive driving and things that can lead to accidents, preventable accidents.
And if you're flying, Garrity says the sooner you get to the airport, the better. Paul Alexander, News Radio, KDKA.
Open Streets Pittsburgh kicks off its 2025 season today in the East End. A number of streets will be closed to motorists from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today in places like Shadyside, East Liberty, Larimer, Homewood, and Point Breeze. And instead, it's the bikers, the runners, the walkers, and roller skaters that will have the chance to use the open streets via a 3.5-mile course, which will start at Highland Avenue and Alder Street in Shadyside, and it will end at Thomas Boulevard in Point Breeze. KDK Radio News time is 7:02. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
The Shindig Charity Music Festival, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Union Brothers Brewing in Harmony. 18 bands over 3 days.
Proceeds benefit local first responders and Northwood Charitable Foundation. Car show Friday night, craft and vendor show Saturday, first responder demonstration Sunday.
Single-day tickets, weekender tickets, and weekender tickets for Keg and Eggs starting at 9:30 a.m.
Surprise guests, amazing raffle prizes, great food and brews. Bring your own lawn chair and a non-perishable food item donation.
Tickets also available at the door. Get your details at theshindigmusicfestival.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be quite warm and humid today with sunshine and some clouds, high up to 87. Staying humid tonight, low down to 70. Still humid tomorrow with a couple of afternoon thunderstorms which could produce localized damaging wind, hail, and even downpours. We'll have a high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's time to get greened.
Doug Oster is here. All natural, no pesticides, no artificial ingredients. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
This is how I know Doug's busy. He walks into the studio and says, beg for callers. So 866-391-1020. He'd love to talk to you about gardening. Lots to get to. And I got to tell you, one of the exciting things is, and I talked to Mike and Patty Janoski, because of the heat, actually something good came from it. Summer sweet corn in abundance at Janoski's because of the weather. So hot weather does pay dividends. You just have to take time and look for the, well, rainbow. All right. In the meantime, I want to remind all of you, we like to kick this show off by giving you an opportunity to win a gift certificate from that other great sponsor, Wexford Exit Sorgels. 10th caller wins it, 412-922-1020. But if you have any gardening questions, Doug is going to take your calls up until 8 o'clock today as we are underway with another edition of the Organic Gardener. DougOster.com. Good morning, Doug.
I'm begging you to call.
Please call.
You were talking about JFK being the first president going to Ireland a few years later in 1967.
Right.
Jackie Kennedy almost drowned in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, I went for a swim in the ocean and almost drowned. I was in Ireland and walking around a garden with a guy, tour manager, and I looked at this little plaque they had by this tree. And Jackie Kennedy had come there to, do one of those tree planting things. He had never seen it before, even though he had given tours in that garden for years. And then I started looking up her, when she came there and what she did. And yeah, went for a swim and in the cold water and almost drowned. So when I saw you post that, because I didn't know JFK was the first president to go to Ireland. When I saw you post that, that's what I thought of.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I'm glad that it turned out okay. I'll be honest with you. I love the ocean, but you wouldn't catch me swimming. But I know a lot of people that like to do that. That's not my cup of tea.
Dun-dun.
No, can I tell you something? It's just, how you realize you're insignificant when you're on a cruise ship. And many, many years ago, when I took a vacation in another life, I think it was like 07, I went on that Disneyland Sea thing.
1807.
Yeah, 1807, more like it. When you're out there, and it'll be the last vacation I ever take. When I was out there on that beautiful ocean, late at night on the balcony as the family was sound asleep, I realized how insignificant we really are. That's a vast body of water, is it not?
Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
It's big, as they say.
You could see it to the left, see it to the right. That's all you see is water.
It's just, and it was a moonlit night, stars. It was absolutely picturesque. But you realize how we are also insignificant. Even though we make contributions, in the end, we are insignificant. All right, so if you have a question for Doug, give us a call, 866-391-1020. One thing I know, the grass has been growing, the weeds are growing, so there's a lot of things growing, including what's growing in the garden. I guess good for sweet corn, huh?
I saw that from Janoski's.
They went crazy.
And I was like, oh, sweet corn already. Well, it's supposed to be knee-high by July 4th, but that's one of the things this summer, man, is sweet corn. I wonder if anybody's growing sweet corn, because it's a tough crop for like a gardener to grow. It takes up a lot of space. You have to do it in like a block because it's wind pollinated. So you got to have a 8x8, 4x4. That's why you see it in just big fields. The only way to get corn is that the wind blows the pollen from one plant to another. But they say as a gardener, when you're growing corn, that you have the water boiling when you pick your corn, because as soon as you pick your corn, and that's why you want it fresh, the sugars start turning to starch the second that you pull it off the plant. So that's why you have to go to that farm the day they're picking, and that's what they do every day they're picking. Rob, you talked about sorghels. I was up there, and I just want to put another mention about peppers. Braden, who's in I think his second season up there, is a pepper fanatic, and I found the most incredible, weird, cool peppers. They're still there, even at this point of the season. And so that I'm doing the super hot thing. I did this story 2 weeks ago for the video in Doug's garden, and it's called a shim garden, South Hills Interfaith Movement. And they grow food for the hungry, but they also help immigrants. And that's one group is from Nepal, and they love super hot peppers. So I thought, well, I know where I can get super hot peppers, and maybe it's something they never had before. And so listen to the names of some of these peppers that I got. Goat brains is one, 1.3 million Scovilles. Tom's giant peach scorpion lemon pepper. The other one, Ragnarok. These are all super hots, but the one I found up there that I'd never seen any other nursery have is called Habananda. And Habananda is a habanero pepper with no heat.
How's that possible?
I don't know, but
wow.
Actually, it was. I did read a little bit about it yesterday. It was bred at Cornell University by a guy who wanted people to be able to enjoy that smoky flavor of the habanero pepper
without the burn,
without the pain.
Yeah.
And the first year we had him, my son, I have indoctrinated him since he was about 3 years old into the hot pepper world, and he can eat hot peppers like anything. And the first year I grew him, I gave him one. I'm like, you try it first. And he ate it, and he was waiting for the pain because the flavor was exactly like a habanero, but no pain. And it's more than just super hot peppers that he has. He's got some barely hot. If you see a 0 on there, that means no heat. From 0 up to 1.2 or 1.3 million Scovilles, but just a wide variety. And it's not too late to plant. We're right at the end of tomato planting season. If you haven't planted tomatoes, or let's say you have some space and you want to grow something else, throw in something that puts fruit on quick. 4th of July, Early Girls, Sun Gold, another cherry. You can stick that in the ground right now, and those tomato plants and those pepper plants will love this heat. And besides that little patch of insane heat and humidity, we've had enough rain to keep all these plants going. And, you see the sweet corn already being able to be picked. And in my case, I've already picked a tomato. There's still time to plant. I've still got lots of containers to fill up, and we're going into bargain season. July 4th marks the start of bargain season, and even some other places I see have been selling their stuff cheap. You might be able to find some bargains, and you know me. Nothing better to me than a garden bargain. And like I said, I still have to fill up containers. This is how my garden season always goes. Yes, I've got lots of stuff planted. The lilies. I'm just enjoying the lilies. I'm enjoying everything that's growing out there. The hydrangeas are blooming, but I still have more work to do, and I will keep planting until everything's filled up. Surprisingly, this one pea plant that I grow called Shiraz Purple Pea. And peas hate hot weather. It went through that period there of those hot mid-90s and humid, and this still has peas, still putting peas on. Now, it won't be for much longer. It's got to be the end. But this pea, it continues to produce longer and longer into the season. A couple other things I need to move around here. I've got some compost surprise tomatoes, volunteers, and I still have some room where I can put them in. I've got a couple early tomatoes. Actually, two plants. They're Red Racer is the variety, and it's an All America selection. Whenever it came out, maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago, they sent me one. Like they sent me a plant, a little itty bitty plant, on like July 15th, and I stuck it in, and I got tomatoes by the end of the season. These are in my greenhouse, the last 2 plants left, and I'm planting them specifically for this late planting, and they've already have tomatoes on them. I'm going to stick them in the ground. I'm going to move these volunteers when the time is right, get them into place, and that will just perpetuate this tomato season all the way until the end of the year. And I've been getting lots of emails with little problems, and people are really reacting to the little problems like big problems. Part of gardening is not worrying so much, is is figuring out the problem and dealing with it. We all have the same gardening problems. It's just how we deal with it. In my case, of course, I'm dealing with it using organic products. But whatever's happening in the garden, take your time, figure it out, and then treat the problem.
All right, good stuff, Doug. And Doug, like to talk to you about gardening. We've got one person in the queue, and we're going to talk to Melissa Allison Park just a moment about green beans. But if you have a question, we'd love to hear from you. Now's the time to call 866-391-1020. Your Pratt Pack. It is a Sunday edition of The Organic Gardener. Doug Oster, DougOster.com. Your call's next.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations of Pittsburgh tradition. A legendary Pittsburgh Pirate, Dave Parker, has died at the age of 74. 11 years with the Buccos, winning 2 batting titles, an MVP award, and a World Series in 1979. The Cobra was part of the inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class in 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown next month. We'll pay tribute to him coming up today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show with longtime Pittsburgh Post-Gazette sports writer Bob Dvorak. Bucks win yesterday against the Mets, 9-2. 2 teams again today. First pitch, 135. Hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Pens acquired defenseman Connor Clifton and the 39th overall pick in the NHL draft. His third trade of the weekend, Cal Dubas. With that pick, early in the second round, the Penguins selected Peyton Kittles, the 6'6" right-shot defenseman. The Penguins landed 13 total players in the 2025 class. It was their highest number of selections since 1994 when they picked 14. Riverhounds defeated Westchester last night 2-1 at Highmark Stadium after 3 rounds of the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Aldrich Potgirder is your leader at 19 under 2-shot lead. It was influencer turned boxer Jake Paul decisioning Julio Chavez Jr. last night. More sports, 93.7thefan.com.
Larry Richard with Andy Amrine from Evie True Value Hardware Store. Thanks, Andy, for introducing me to Harmony Organic Insect Control.
Harmony is your first true organic insect control on the market, Larry. It's good for fleas, ticks, spiders, bed bugs, ants, everything. All those nasty insects that are living in your house, you now have an organic way of controlling it. Harmony Organic Insect Control.
Go to harmonyoic.com, available at participating True Value Hardware Stores.
If you're turning 65 this year, review your Medicare Part C options now. You need to know the difference between Advantage plans versus supplement plans. Contact locally owned and operated Need Part C today for a free consultation. That's Need Part C. Beat the annual enrollment rush. NeedPartC.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at KennyRoss.com.
The weather is heating up, and so are the great savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. Save with your Coons Reward Card. All natural pork baby back ribs, $2.99 a pound. Whole seedless watermelons, $3.99 each. And selected varieties of budget saver pops, 12 to 18 count packages, $2.99 each. Additional savings in our meat department. All natural fresh chicken thighs or drumsticks, $1.29 a pound. And frozen ready to grill swordfish steaks, 8-ounce average, $4.79 each. In our produce department, fresh southern sweet corn, $3.99 a dozen. And sweet Northwest cherries are $1.99 a pound. In our deli department, Eat and serve Coons Ham Barbecue, $4.99 a pound, and old-time oven-roasted turkey breast is $8.99 a pound. And this week, selected varieties of Kraft barbecue sauce, 17.5 to 18-ounce bottles, 99 cents each.
So get into Coons Market for these hot savings now. Coons Market, your neighborhood grocer. Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, here's how it works. You're sitting with that second cup of coffee, or maybe your first. You got the newspaper out in front. You're listening to us, and you're looking out the window in the kitchen thinking, my garden, what can I do? There's more weeds than things growing. You need help. Call us, 866-391-1020. Whatever you'd like to discuss, it's wide open conversation, especially how do you beat the heat and save some of these plants, and what plants actually thrive, like sweet corn in the heat. Call us, 866-391-1020. Melissa Allison Park up first for Doug Oster, DougOster.com. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I'm going to agree with Doug for a quick minute here. I used to work with a young gentleman who was born in Nepal and fled to Bhutan because of religious problems. He loved hot things. And he let me taste something that his wife had made, and it had a tiny little, my God, that was 8 years ago, and my mouth is still on fire. He says, oh, when my wife is cooking, she's throwing these in her mouth all the time. I'm going, oh, my God, they are so hot. Anyway, they do love hot things. He says, I can give you one of these plants. I said, no. It'll go bad. My problem right now, my garden is going whole honkers. I'm sitting here, I'm looking out the window and going, oh, my God, my tomatoes got huge. But it's my green beans. I used to raise cabbage, and I would have to spray them all the time for the cabbage moths that would come around and chew on them. Well, my green beans, all of the foliage on them, I have like something sat and chewed on them. Do I have to spray my cabbage moth spray on my green beans?
No, it's probably something else, and we need to figure out what that something else is. One possibility is slugs, which can confound you because you don't see them feed. They feed at night. Okay. The other thing it possibly could be is Mexican bean beetles, but you would see them. You have to go out and look at the plant, turn the leaves over, take a look at what you're seeing there. If you're not seeing any pest on the actual plant, it's probably slugs. With this wet weather, and slugs love beans, that would be my guess. The Mexican bean beetle right now is probably still in the larval state, which is this kind of yellow fuzzy thing, and it's unmistakable when you see it in the garden. And so in the case of slugs, if you do determine it's slugs, and you'll see like kind of a silvery trail on the leaves, and that will indicate slugs. There's a product called Sluggo, which is organic. It's an organic pellet that the slug would eat. The other thing that we use is actually something I gave to the Nepalese garden, was this stuff called diatomaceous earth. And these are organic products, and the diatomaceous earth is like a powder, but on the microscopic level, it's razor sharp. In fact, when you do apply diatomaceous earth, and you would find it at any good nursery, you have to wear a mask because you don't want to breathe it in because it will irritate your nasal passages. It's not a poison, but again, that sharpness on the microscopic level, and if you have to apply it after every rain, which in this case means every day.
It's 3 times a day.
Yeah, so that's another way. Slugs don't like to crawl on something that's rough. You know, sometimes people will put rough contractor sand underneath there, but that Sluggo stuff is easy to find. That works well too. But you figure it out. If it's Mexican bean beetle, the other thing that we spray for anything that's chewing, like a larval little thing like that, or a cabbage worm would be one, is this stuff called Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. And once the chewing insect ingests it, then they'll be done for. But it's a safe way to use a product where you're not going to hurt the good bugs, you're not going to hurt yourself or anybody who lives downstream. So that would be my guess. I'm guessing slugs, because especially if you don't see any actual pest on the plant, my guess is slugs in this wet, warm weather. This is the perfect storm for slugs.
Okay, I thank you very much for your help here. Hopefully,
good luck.
They don't get to my beans.
I hope not.
All right, here's what you need to do. This is wide open gardening talk. So let's get in bloom and get going. So call us 866-391-1020. All of our lines are open but one. We've got Diane. She's on KDK. Good morning, Di.
Good morning, guys. Doug, I have an apple tree that bloomed beautifully in the spring, and now I've got maybe golf ball size apples on it. Is it too late to spray it?
Well, it depends on what you're spraying for. There's people will spray them for fungal issues. If you haven't started your spraying for the fungal issues, it's probably too late. Has it started to drop leaves? Have you seen apple scab at all? Seen the leaves start to change color or anything, or does it look okay?
It still seems to look okay. A lot of what we face is we've done okay in the past couple of years on the fungal part. It's more so the bugs getting into it.
Yeah.
Ants and whatever. We did buy the Captain Jack's. I think it's the neem oil we have.
Right. That's good stuff. For that sort of thing, you're okay. The other thing that people do in apple trees is they hang a couple traps. They hang a trap for the apple maggot and for the codling moth, and it's a what we call pheromone trap. So the pest thinks it's coming to mate, and then it gets caught in something, and then it can't get out, and now that won't bother the apple. Do you have any trouble with worms or anything in the apples? Because that would be a codling moth or especially apple maggot.
I'll have to check. It seems like every year it's
something.
It just depends. Yeah, I mean, mostly in the past it seems to have been ants, but I'm going to have to go out and check. I know with the recent storms, naturally, some of the apples have fallen down to the ground, and the deer are loving that part of it. So basically, there's a program that you follow, and so if you're not having issues with fungal issues, that's great. You don't have to worry about that if it still has leaves at the end of the season. Secondly, are these pest problems, these apple maggots and codling moths, are usually worse off than the ants. I'll tell you what, the other thing for ants, that diatomaceous earth is the number one thing for ants. If they crawl on that diatomaceous earth, that's it. They're done. And it's something that you could put on a food crop that couldn't harm you, that you could just rinse off, and there's no residuals on there. So that's something to think about also for the ants. Do you know what kind of apple it is? Are you able to harvest them and enjoy them? Years ago, when we were able to keep up with it, we were. But right now, like I said, they're small and greenish in color.
Right.
We had an old timer in the neighborhood who knew, and it's past my memory of
right.
what he did say it was, and with
still very early for the apples. Hopefully, you can keep the bugs off them, and you'll be harvesting. Usually, we start seeing apple harvest in September into October.
No, I appreciate that. And just one other quick question.
Guy, I got to put you on hold because I got to get to this break for the news. I'll let Doug answer that question on the other side of the news. So you stay right there and we'll get right back to you. Jim and Apollo will get to you as well. We have a couple of lines available, so give us a call, 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. Got news just minutes away, bottom of the hour with Rob, and then we'll be back with more with Doug. We've got that Janoski's gift card to give away as well. And we've also got some picnic ideas coming up next hour on the Coons Cooking Hour with Frank Dentisi and me, all still to come today on KDKA. 9 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking to Troy Lampenfield from Greater Pitt Tree Service. 9 o'clock hour, of course, after that, 10 o'clock, Accurate Solutions, and a special tribute edition of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show paying tribute to Dave Parker, 74 years of age, passing away as he is just weeks away from being enshrined into Cooperstown in baseball's Hall of Fame. Your Pratt Pack Sunday, KDKA.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 412-556-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 412-556-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Yeah, the weather has been hot, but it's been great for the sweet corn. Sweet corn, sweet corn. It's sensational. It's there. A little salt and pepper to taste and some butter, and you're good to go. So you need to get to Janoski's when their doors open at 8 for best selection as you head into the holiday weekend next weekend. Never fear, sweet corn is here, and they've got it in abundance. So get to the farm market expansion for the first of the season. Sweet corn from Janoski's. All roads lead to the farm. Janoski's, Route 30 in Clinton. Like them on Facebook. Find out more at Janoski's.com and pick up your sweet corn today.
Hard at work for over 75 years, Dram watering tools have been the professional's choice for quality and durability. Now you can create the softest shower of rain with a Dram rain wand in your garden. Choose from 9 water patterns for a variety of uses with a revolver spray gun, and use a color storm sprinkler for a lush playground. Quality you can depend on for a lifetime. Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden. Available at a fine garden center near you. Visit us online at dram.com.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life. Your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 71 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 7:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A man has died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. Happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving the tractor near Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over, and Pranowicz was pinned underneath the right rear tire. Right now, state police are investigating the incident. Well, on Saturday night, Senate Republicans were able to clear a key procedural step as they aim to pass a budget bill to meet the Trump administration's fiscal priorities. With more, CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian.
Text of the measure was released late Friday after a series of last-minute changes. The bill now includes a $25 billion rural hospital fund pushed by some moderates who were concerned about the impact of proposed Medicaid cuts. It also scales back Biden-era clean energy tax credits. Elon Musk blasted the bill on X, saying it would destroy millions of jobs and cause strategic harm to the country. The White House has endorsed the package and said failure to pass it would be ultimate betrayal. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A man has died after a crash in Washington County Friday night. The Washington County coroner says the crash happened on State Route 22 in Hanover Township. 28-year-old Michael Miller of Burgettstown lost control of his vehicle. It struck a tree. It happened around 9 o'clock on Friday night. He was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Miller was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, Dave Parker has died, the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent 11 years in Pittsburgh from 1973 to 1983, winning the World Series in 79, also an MVP award, 2 batting titles in 77 and 78. Parker was nicknamed the Cobra, and he was part of that inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class in 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown in July. Pirates chairman Bob Nutting releasing a statement saying that Parker had, quote, a big personality, and his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker, 74 years old. KDK Radio News Time, 7:32. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would it leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection on the drivetrain, AC, and more. Get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
Call for your fast free quote today. 800-310-0219. 800-310-0219.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be very warm and humid today with sun and some clouds, high up to 87, and partly cloudy tonight, low down to 70. Staying humid tomorrow with more clouds than sun. Couple afternoon thunderstorms which could produce damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back on Monday. Can't wait to talk to you. Holiday week. Check up on you Monday, 2 to 6. Colin Dunlap right here, KDKA.
All right, 10th caller's going to win that gift certificate, $25 to Janoski's, where the first of the season sweet corn has arrived. All you need to do is be the 10th caller at 412-922-1020. Let's go to Diane. Diane, we're going to let you get that second question in here. Go ahead.
No, thanks, guys. So, Doug, with all this rain, can you recommend what are your two top picks for some fertilizers for the flowers and the garden? And I really appreciate you taking all my questions this morning.
Oh, glad to do it. So, for containers, I would recommend like a liquid fertilizer, a liquid concentrate. There's one that I just absolutely love. It's called Dramatic with 2 M's. They sponsor the show, but I buy the stuff like you buy it. I don't want people to think that when I say Dramatic that I'm doing it because it's an ad. It's not an ad. It's what I use. And so, but there are lots of different liquid concentrates, meaning that you buy a bottle for like $20 and you mix it like 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. If you have anything in a container, it needs fertilized. It needs fertilized just about every time you water. Now, for in the garden, for flowers, there's 2 that I really love. It's from a company called Espoma, and it's Flower Tone and Bloom Tone. It's formulated to make the things flower and bloom, basically. Flower Tone, Bloom Tone. They have a whole series. They have, tree tone, tomato tone. They're all specific to that plant, formulated for the plant. So flower tone, bloom tone for flowers. If you wanted something just general, the one that they have is either garden tone or plant tone. Either one of those 2 things will be fine for your general fertilization. And those are granular. And so when you put those down, every time it rains, it dissolves that fertilizer and it starts to go into the ground. And so those are my recommendations. All right, Rob, ready for another call?
I am ready for another call. Here is Jim in Apollo. Hey, Jim.
Hey, something's eating my zucchini plants. I believe it's a rabbit. Is there a spray I can spray them with to deter this?
Yes, it's called hot pepper wax, and it's from a company called Bonide. And the interesting thing about it is that when you spray it on a plant, the rabbit can get the hot pepper, but we don't get the hot pepper flavor for some reason. Is there any chance you could fence that little bed also, because that's going to help too?
Yeah, I guess I could. But what's interesting is the zucchini are right between my tomatoes and eggplant, and it's only eating the zucchini.
I would want to see that it was a rabbit for sure.
Might be a groundhog too, I guess.
If it's a groundhog, you're in trouble. You can't have a garden and have a groundhog. You're gonna have to figure out some kind of way to either probably trap it or have somebody trap it, live trap it, and get it out of there. But so groundhogs feed during the day, and rabbits feed just about any time. You should be able.
Well,
go ahead.
This is a night feeder.
Then it's probably a rabbit. You're probably right. I would want to be out there at the very end of the day and just kind of quietly sneak up into the garden. And if you see that little guy run out, you know for sure what it is, or first thing in the morning. But for now, what I do until I can fence out that area, I'm using that hot pepper wax. And I'm sure there's other rabbit repellents too. I use one for deer called Bob-X, but they also have a like rabbit and deer spray. If you go to your local nursery around there, they'll have something for you. You know, if you can't find the hot pepper wax, that will give you a little bit of leeway, so that when then the best thing to deal with these kind of problems is a physical barrier, is that just chicken wire, and rabbits are pretty easy to fence out. So otherwise, garden is going good?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So those groundhogs can do a lot of damage.
Oh, man. There's nothing worse than a groundhog. You might think deer are bad. You might think rabbits are bad. You might think cabbage worms are bad. But a groundhog, and I often people will say, well, they feel, I don't mind sharing. Well, you'll mind sharing when the groundhog just takes one bite of a tomato. That'll drive you nuts. You know, just that one little nibble. And so you can fence out a groundhog, but you need a special type of fencing. The fence has to go down into the ground. It has to have like a 90-degree angle underneath the ground, and then going up, it has to be about 3 foot tall, and then loose at the top. Because a groundhog's a professional digger, a professional climber. And so when it climbs up, you keep it loose, and it kind of falls back, and the groundhog gets scared. And when for underneath that 90-degree angle, the groundhog will go right to the angle and try and dig through that. It won't go back. It doesn't. Right. It's not smart enough. And so, yeah, groundhogs are a terrible issue, and I'm lucky I have not had them in years.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right, they're listening to the show right now.
Oh, I know they are.
Let's go to Anna in Monroeville. Hey, Anna, how are you?
Hi. Well, I'm frustrated. I heard you at the beginning of the program to say, everything can be solved and calm down. Okay. Well, Davy Tree is not there, but you probably can help me with this. I had a huge locust tree, and I had it cut down because it was just limbs flying all over the place with all these winds and everything. Now I have sprouts of locust everywhere on the whole property.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this was a whole forest of locust trees.
No. What's happening?
Came in and
what's happening there is the plant it's all from the roots that were there, and so the plant is trying to stay alive, even though it was cut. They are so tough that all those sprouts are coming from whatever the root structure was left. And so here's what to do while they're little like that, and while they're soft and tender. Either have somebody or you with a string trimmer or a lawnmower and just keep after them all season long, and eventually you'll exhaust those roots. The roots are fed by the top, and this is not going to be overnight. A locust tree, it's a weed, basically. It is it's a weed. It's hard to stop. Yeah. But every time you see one of those things, it needs to be cut. And what will happen is the roots will continue to try and push those out until they don't. There's no energy left in the roots. So can you make that part of your lawn mowing?
Well, what I had been doing was cutting them off and putting a little bit of Roundup on it. I've never used Roundup. I'm getting desperate. But and I've
the Roundup's not going to help. Okay.
Okay.
And either is a organic herbicide. They're not going to do much for you. The cutting off, that continual top cutting is everything. And are we talking thousands of little shoots coming up, or hundreds?
Oh, yeah.
Or, yeah.
Everywhere. And now it's in my garden. But the most frustrating thing is it's in my asparagus patch.
Oh, that's not good.
And no. And so that's
You're going to have to, for the asparagus patch, you're going to have to be especially careful. You're going to have to go in there by hand. I know this is not what you want to hear, but for that asparagus patch, before those fronds can be removed when they turn brown, which is months away,
yes,
you're going to have to get in there and snip those locusts.
Right.
That's the entire root system. But right off the bat, the plant, after it was cut down, the plant is panicking. It's panicking like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I need to procreate. I need to add more. And that's why it's in this panic mode. And so cut as much as you can, as often as you can, and do that this entire season, and you'll win the battle. Okay?
I'll win.
There's no other solution.
Sometimes I can pull it out and get a part of a thicker part.
Right.
Comes out.
Anything you can do to remove that new growth and make that tree struggle is going to help you. And it's not going to be forever, but it's not going to be overnight. It's going to take a while. And I understand you being frustrated, but remember what I said. Remember what I said at the top of the show.
Right.
It's a first world problem, and don't let it drive you nuts. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your call.
Bye-bye.
All right, let me get out of here for a quick break. We'll come back, wrap it up. We have some lines available, so if you want to sneak in here and get a question answered, now would be a great time to call. 866-391-1020. Rob Taylor at 8 o'clock with the news, and then picnic favorites getting ready for the 4th and our giant 2-day sale, July 2nd and 3rd at Coons Market on the Coons Cooking Hour.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations of Pittsburgh tradition. A legendary Pittsburgh Pirate, Dave Parker, has died at the age of 74. 11 years with the Buccos, winning 2 batting titles, an MVP award, and a World Series in 1979. The Cobra was part of the inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class in 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown next month. We'll pay tribute to him coming up today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show with longtime Pittsburgh Post-Gazette sports writer Bob Dvorak. Bucks win yesterday against the Mets, 9-2. 2 teams again today. First pitch, 135. Hear it on 93.7 The Fan. Pens acquired defenseman Connor Clifton and the 39th overall pick in the NHL draft. His third trade of the weekend, Cal Dubas. With that pick, early in the second round, the Penguins selected Peyton Kittles, the 6'6" right-shot defenseman. The Penguins landed 13 total players in the 2025 class. It was their highest number of selections since 1994 when they picked 14. Riverhounds defeated Westchester last night 2-1 at Highmark Stadium. After 3 rounds of the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Aldrich Potgirder is your leader at 19 under 2-shot lead. It was influencer turned boxer Jake Paul decisioning Julio Chavez Jr. last night. More sports, 93.7thefan.com.
Spring planting is in full swing. Hi, it's Randy Sorgel from Sorgels in Wexford. When making your choice for quality plants, friendly service, and family reputation, we hope you choose Sorgels. Remember, not only do you get all of that at Sorgels, we have the farm animals, the bakery, the deli, ice cream, the gift shop, home accents, baby apparel, Naturally Sorgel's gluten-free store, as well as Arsenal cider, and of course, there's Tiny Town. But if you are not able to get to Sorgel's, please pick a family-owned garden center close to you, like the other advertisers in this show. Families care about you and need your support, and they don't sell washing machines. So please, thanks for your support to all of us and the other hardworking families in the gardening industry. Sorgel's 724-935-2090.
Get ready for summer fun at the Elwood City Summer Festival, July 4th through the 6th. 3 days of live music, food vendors, over 100 crafters, and one incredible fireworks display to light up the night on Sunday. Bring the whole family for great eats, unique shopping, and hometown celebration you won't forget. It's the biggest weekend of the summer, and it's all happening at Ewing Park in Elwood City. Don't miss the Elwood City Summer Festival, July 4th through the 6th.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break
break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Doug Oster tells you how to keep it green. The Organic Gardener is on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
We're going to take another call before we say so long to Doug and he heads fishing for the day. Let's say hi to Ginger in Latrobe. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you today?
Good, good. I was wondering if you might be able to help me out with a problem I have in our yard. I think it's a skunk. I saw it once, but every time I plant anything, it like digs it up and leaves it on the side. I mean, it doesn't eat it. It just like digs it up and out.
Is it digging up like the lawn and stuff? A skunk is going to be after grubs.
No, it's like mainly in all my mulched areas. And if I plant anything new, I mean, there's holes. I'm assuming it's a skunk. I mean,
I don't know. It could be other things too. Are there deer out there?
Oh yeah, plenty of deer, but
rabbits.
Yeah, but some of the holes I saw, they're small. There might be chipmunks. Okay, granted.
Yeah.
But now I've got a lot of like big. I mean, it's not the chipmunks holes.
Well, here's what I would do.
Okay.
I would go to your garden center there near Latrobe and get one of these spray repellents. It'll be about $20, and use that for now until you figure out what's doing the actual digging. You need to see it. You need to see what's doing it. Once you figure that out, then you can specifically target that pest. Now, here's a little hint that I think you'll get. You don't want to catch a skunk.
I couldn't figure that one out.
No, that's why you called. You need that's for your professional advice, and no charge on that one. The last thing you want to do is catch a skunk, but I don't think it's the skunk doing it, because they're not interested in the plants. They're interested in grubs, and they kind of like. It's usually in a grassy area, and they just tear the whole thing up at night. The other thing to ask is do you know if this is happening during the day or during the night? Is it usually
during the night? During the night.
All right. So.
And I had a pot of flowers, just a regular 12, 1, 2 feet, pot, and they knock the pot down. Don't eat the flowers. But they've knocked that pot down and dispersed the flowers and the
when I hear the pot knocked over, that sounds like deer trying to eat the flowers, and then they accidentally knock the thing over. I would get an animal repellent. I would start off with an animal repellent, and then which one of you two is going to stay up all night to watch the flowers?
Yeah, I've got to get my camera out or something.
Yeah.
Trail cam or something. Right?
That would help. The other thing, when it's dry, the one thing you can do is you can put out some flour, and then you'll know what the footprints are, and that will tell you again exactly what this thing is that's doing this. But when is it going to be dry again? That's the question. I just saw Ron Smiley on the TV talking about rain here the next couple days, so. that's another thing to think about. Some way to identify those footprints will tell you what that pest is and driving you absolutely nuts. Until that happens, get that animal repellent. Spray it on there, and it's going to smell bad for a couple days once you spray it, but it's going to do a great job at keeping your plants safe until you can figure this thing out.
Yeah. Okay.
All
I
right.
might try that flower thing. That's a good idea.
All right.
Never tried that.
Good luck on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Those pests are a problem. Pepe Le Pew.
All right. Now, you got about a minute and a half. Just fill us in on everything that's good in your world.
Oh, what's good in my world is like everybody else's world, except for those battling pests. And that can drive you nuts. Rabbits, deer, groundhogs, chewing insects, all of it. I understand when people just want to give up because the day that you come out and, all that work you've done and then you lose something. But this is part of the process. This is part of what we do as gardeners. And the positives are, like in my garden, last year the deer got in there when I wasn't around and ate half the lilies. This year they didn't get in. And so I get to see my lilies. I have a giant, old-fashioned heirloom lily called Golden Splendor that is, by the time I get home today, it's going to be in full bloom. It's so big that I've got it staked at 6 feet, and it's another 4 feet above that. And the buds are so big that they're pulling the plant over. I'm just, made it through that rain yesterday. What I've had happen with my lilies is they've gotten so big because of this rain and because of this weather that some of them are just cracking off. The buds are too big. This is during a storm, and so then they become cut flowers, and they last quite a while in a vase. And that fragrance, that's one of the reasons we garden. I know sometimes it can be difficult, especially midsummer, trying to figure out what these problems are, but try to enjoy the good things in the garden when you can. Now, I am taking people to Italy and southern Italy and Sicily. If you would like to come with me, all the information is at DougOster.com. Like I was talking about earlier about Ireland, that was a guy that ran my tour in Ireland, and we became good friends. Just go to DougOster.com, and you can see what I'm doing and where I'm doing it and how you can come with me. Remember, organic gardeners, you make our world brighter and safer with each seed you sow and every garden you grow.
All right, so Doug's gone fishing. Coming up after the news at 8, we're going to tell you about our giant 2-day sale, July 2nd and 3rd, Coons Market, just in time for the 4th. Picnic ideas, plans, and more. So stay where you're right with us today on KDK for more of your Pratt Pack. Stay with us.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
The Senate has approved a bill that would repeal the no hunting on Sunday law. The woman behind it, Representative Mandy Steele, joins us.
That's right, Larry. So the only blue laws left in Pennsylvania are that you can't buy a car on Sunday and you can't hunt on Sunday. Our forest ecologists are telling us we need more hunters out in Pennsylvania.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
For a beautiful garden that's healthy and safe, use Dramatic Organic Fertilizers by Dram. It's the organic choice to produce brilliant fruits and vegetables that are healthy for your family. And because it's all natural, it's safe for barefoot fun and playful pets. Available at your local garden center or nursery. Ask for Dramatic Organic Fertilizers. Visit us online at dram.com. Dramatic Organic for dramatic results.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. At Morgan & Morgan, we don't back down. We fight to get you every dollar you deserve. No curveballs, no strikeouts, just results. That's why we've recovered over $25 billion for our clients and fight for them from offices nationwide. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. Hi, I'm Andrew McCollum, the CEO of streaming TV company Philo, and juicy reality TV is how I unwind. At Philo, we're all huge TV fans, so we spend all day making Philo the perfect place for people who love TV. No hassles, no contracts, and we never ask you to pay more for things you don't want. Just the good stuff. We have live TV from your favorite channels like MTV, Discovery, A&E, and more. We've got a huge library of more than 80,000 movies and shows you can watch anytime. We give you an unlimited DVR so you can skip all the ads. And we have 24/7 customer service that connects you to a real person in seconds. You might even get me on the line. The best part, at Philo, we think TV shouldn't break the bank. So all of this is just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv/Andrew. That's philo.tv/Andrew. Give us a try, risk-free. If you love TV, you'll love Philo.
Indulge your senses with the perfect blend of wine, music, and dining at City Winery in the Strip District Terminal. Enjoy live performances from legendary artists and local favorites in an intimate listening room designed for an unforgettable concert experience. Savor locally sourced food and award-winning wine, all in a setting that brings music and flavor together like never before. Whether it's a night out with friends or a special occasion, make it memorable. Reserve your table now at citywinery.com/Pittsburgh.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 71 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Dave Parker has died. He was the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent 11 years in Pittsburgh. And you know him from winning the World Series in 1979, also an MVP award, and 2 batting titles with the Buccos. Parker was nicknamed the Cobra. He was part of the Pirates' inaugural Hall of Fame class of 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown coming up in July. Pirates owner Bob Nutting releasing a statement saying that Parker had a big personality and, quote, his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker was 74 years old. A man has died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. Happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving the tractor near Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over, and Pranowicz was pinned underneath the right rear tire. State police are investigating the incident. Well, it's Open Streets Pittsburgh time. Kicks off its 2025 season today in the East End. A number of streets will be closed to motorists from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. in Shadyside, East Liberty, Larmer, Homewood, and Point Breeze. Instead, the streets belong to the bikers, the walkers, runners, roller skaters. They'll have the chance to use the streets via a 3.5-mile course, which will start at Highland Avenue and Alder Street. That's in Shadyside. And it ends at Thomas Boulevard in Point Breeze. Well, even though the 4th of July is still 5 or so days away, travel experts have already declared that the holiday is underway. Here's News Radio KDKA's Paul Alexander.
Experts say more than 72 million people will travel more than 50 miles away from home between June 28th and July 6th. Jim Garrity with AAA says if you're flying or driving, it's a good idea to give yourself plenty of time. Now, if you're driving,
running late, it puts a cloud over your judgment, and it makes you more prone to things like distracted driving and road rage and aggressive driving and things that can lead to accidents, preventable accidents.
And if you're flying, Garrity says the sooner you get to the airport, the better. Paul Alexander, News Radio, KDKA.
KDKA Radio News Time is 8:03, and the AccuWeather forecast is 2 minutes away.
If you're turning 65 this year, review your Medicare Part C options now. You need to know the difference between Advantage plans versus supplement plans. Contact locally owned and operated Need Part C today for a free consultation. That's Need Part C. Beat the annual enrollment rush. NeedPartC.com.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
It's the City of Pittsburgh's Independence Day celebration, and the fun starts at 4 p.m. on July 4th on Pittsburgh's North Shore. Enjoy family activities, nonstop music, and fantastic food. And tune to 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA for the Fireworks Bonanza Mix from TJ the DJ. Brought to you by Need Part C, Pittsburgh's choice for Medicare solutions, NeedPartC.com, and Pennsylvania Laborers District Council. Don't miss the Bethel Park Art and Music Festival, Saturday, July 26th from 10 until 6. at the Bethel Park Community Center. Enjoy over 80 artists, live bands, food trucks, and so much more. Admission is free and shuttle service is available all day.
Details at KDKA-radio.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code Traffic 25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code Traffic 25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code Traffic 25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code Traffic 25.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be quite warm and humid today with sunshine and some clouds, high up to 87. Staying humid tonight, low down to 70. Still humid tomorrow with a couple of afternoon thunderstorms, which could produce localized damaging wind, hail, and even downpours. We'll have a high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. This is the Coons Cooking Hour. The crew from Coons Market are here. It's the great food you grew up with and the recipes that make Pittsburgh someplace special.
All right, Metropolitan Window video screen. Click on KDKARadio.com and KDK Watch. I hold in my hand 2 days of savings, July 2nd and 3rd. That's Wednesday and Thursday, in case you are keeping track, because you don't want to miss out just prior to the 4th of July holiday, and all sorts of incredible things. Essential everyday potato chips, St. Louis-style spare ribs, Haas variety avocados, and more. Frank Dentisi, it's all about picnics today. So your favorite picnic recipes, get on the line early and often. Before the hour is up, some lucky listener is going to take home a $25 gift certificate from Coons Market, your neighborhood grocer, a Pittsburgh tradition. Let's start, Frank, by telling them all about the 2-day sale, July 2nd and 3rd. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, we have another 2-day sale starting on the 2nd and 3rd. So you can stock up. Yeah, that's going to be Wednesday and Thursday. Some of our deals that are going to be on there. We're going to have the Land O'Lakes American cheese, the yellow or the white, $4.99 a pound. We're going to have some small, sweet grape tomatoes. The 1-pint pack is $4 for $5. Sugardale bacon, 12-ounce package, $2.99. And for that nice hot days that we're planning on having for the 4th, we're hoping to have beautiful sunny days. We have Prairie Farms ice cream cones as a 6-count pack, $3.99. That's just some of the savings that we're going to have. We do these but usually once a month, our 2-day sales, and usually it's going to be items you're looking for. There's going to be hot items. We spend the 3 weeks before it always looking for those hot deals to put into this ad, and we've already looking at the next one now to go ahead and start getting items lined up. So making sure that we're always staying ahead of the curve and looking for items that are relevant, so that's a relevant 2-day sale for people, things that you are looking for. And in our stores, when you see a 2 for, or 3 for, or 4 for, like the grape tomatoes, 4 for $5, you don't have to buy all 4 of those. You can buy just one. We're not going to charge you a different price for that one. We're going to charge you the same price. We're going to divide $5 by 4, $1.25 each. We're nice and fair to people because we know that there's families, there's large families, but there's also ones and twos, that are looking to also save, and it's not fair not to have them save as well. And we do this all the time, not just in our 2-day sales, but our ads together and our regular retails. If you see a 2 for, 3 for, a BOGO, you can buy just one, and so we're not wasting food out there that you don't actually need.
All right, so what you need to do, you need to get to one of your 8 locally owned and independently operated Coons Markets. And just in case you're wondering, McKnight Road, Hopewell, Ingomar, Banksville Road, Beulah Road, Bellevue, Highwood Street, and Ferguson Road. It is the giant 2-day sale leading into the 4th of July holiday. And those savings, of course, the insert in the weekly ads, you can pick them up. Coons Market, many of you will be receiving this in the mail. You'll know exactly what to save, and it'll give you plenty of time to do your grocery shopping, then kick back, relax with family and friends over the 4th of July. The giant 2-day sale of savings, July 2nd and 3rd at Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. All right, now that we took care of that, let's talk picnic food. Why do I think of baked beans right off the bat today, Frank, when I'm thinking 4th of July, hot dogs and hamburgers and Bush baked beans? Go ahead.
Yeah, the Bush's baked beans are, I always remember the dog that was on there that's always spilling the secret of the recipe.
That little dog.
That's those old commercials that end up sticking in your head. Of course, that's the whole point of those. But baked beans is just about any picnic I've ever been to. You usually have baked beans. They travel well. They can go outside and stay and be able to withstand the heat without breaking down. Also has a great flavor, and everyone has something that they, you buy the Bush's beans, but then you're adding things to it. You always add something a little bit different into it to give it that flavor. Like I'll add bacon into it, a little bit of brown sugar, gives a little bit of a sweeter taste, and that bacon just, bacon makes everything better. So you can't go wrong by just throwing some bacon in there as well. But, fried chicken is another hot item for the holiday, for 4th of July, especially, or for picnics. I know we go through a lot of fried chicken on those days, and we try to make sure we can get every booking in there. We have limited hot fryers, but we really expand to make sure that we can fry as much as possible through the times. So sometimes we move some times around trying to help out, but great fried chicken, can't go wrong with that. Of course, hamburgers and your hot dogs, hamburgers, your own mix of blend, whether you're doing a nice seasoned burger or you're buying the ground meat, you're buying ground beef to make your own blend. You can buy chuck, and we do a ground brisket, mix those two together, you're going to get a really great flavor. If you're looking for something lean, we have a 93%, which is our ground sirloin. We also have a 96 out there that if you're looking for that lean, and that's just extra seasonings in it to get the seasonings, and you cut back on all the grease and the fat. So, we have something for everybody out there. And ready to make just a great picnic, whether you're going out on a picnic or you're just going out onto the deck or porch to enjoy the nice weather on the holidays before you head out to see some fireworks.
Or do what I like to do, come inside where the air conditioning is on and have a picnic indoors.
And there you go. Or you can cook it outdoors, but then eat it indoors.
That's what we use.
It's nice, where it's nice and comfortable.
Listen, I got to tell you, it's been a very hot couple of weeks for sure, but this is when it really starts to heat up, and I love the heat, and I love the air-conditioned comfort, but there's nothing like the smell of hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. It's what I think we were all born to do, grow up and grill. Why is grilling such an American phenomenon, Frank?
I don't know, it just kind of became our thing, to be able to do barbecue. If you're talking about barbecuing and smokers and all that, this is the country where you hear about, that's what we're related to. Of course, hamburger and hot dogs and all the all-American meals there. A lot of it with extra land, the land that we have and able to raise beef makes a big difference in that, we're really, we don't see it here in the city, but really the country itself, our country is a lot of rural areas, a lot of, middle of the country is all farmland, family based and cooking out meals and, of course, all the fruits and vegetables out there. And, but that's where they raise the cattle and the pigs and the chickens more and more down in the southern areas, and that's where they're grown up. The vast majority of our country really is an agricultural district. And, that's where we get our roots from.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to not change it up a lot, but just to get your audience participation thinking caps on. So if we were building the perfect picnic, old school picnic, okay, charcoal grill, what would we have to have? Obviously, hamburgers and hot dogs, your condiments. But what about some desserts? What about a few extra treats, even down to toasting those marshmallows over the coals that are now embers, right? So give us a call. A perfect picnic to you would include what items? 866-391-1020. What would you include? You got to have potato salad. You got to have macaroni salad. You got to have that little plate of pickles and tomatoes and lettuce. And yeah, you have to have watermelon. I mean, Frank, what would it be a 4th of July without a delicious, juicy, right? Let's thump it to make sure it's absolutely perfect from Coons Market. you got to have a watermelon. And now they can make them without seeds. Are you kidding me? How good can it get?
Oh, it's great, and, it's a hot day, nothing tastes better than having some of that watermelon. You can have some little bit of ice cream later on, usually in the evening, but having that watermelon right after you've had whatever, potluck meals or grilled items that you enjoyed for the picnic. I do miss the spitting of the seeds.
Me too. That was fun.
Those little battles. But again, grab some cherries too. You can have some cherry pits and spit some cherry pits out, but, yeah, watermelon. My friend across the street growing up, his mom used to take the watermelon and she would juice it. She would squeeze it. And so you could have fresh watermelon juice, which was always excellent.
Oh, man.
And they'd put a little bit of salt in it, kind of like people that put salt on watermelon. Put a little bit of salt in that juice, and it was delicious.
As we used to say, the old timers, which I am now one of them, but they would always put salt on their watermelon.
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of goes against that sweetness. So it's sweet. Get a little bit of savory with adding that salt to it.
But, look, they put salt on everything. They never counted calories. Yeah. They were always in shape. I'm telling you, the greatest generation lived in the best time to be in America. Thick, juicy steaks. Again, they never counted calories. They always had to have a cake for dessert. But anyway, let's build that perfect picnic. What item would you like to bring to the picnic? What are you famous for? Let's take your calls right now. 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. Locally owned, independently operated. It's a great neighborhood grocery store that is Coons Market, but especially when it's a giant 2-day of savings sale just in time for the 4th of July. This coming Wednesday and Thursday, July 2nd and 3rd. Look for this flyer at Coons Market. It's the insert in our regular flyer, and you can also be looking for it from the United States Postal Service, which is going to be a great thing for you to save like never before the 4th of July. All right, so tell me, perfect picnic menu, what would include in it, and what is your famous plate dish? We'd like to hear from you. 866-391-1020. Some lucky listener is going to get a $25 gift certificate before the hour is up from Coons Market.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
For all station contest rules, go to kdkaradio.com/rules.
Lunch was great. Lawrenceville is such a fun spot.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, what would you be bringing to this picnic? You tell me. 866-391-1020. And what are you famous for? Here's Peter in Crafton. Hey, Pete, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Well, my wife used to make this green bean and potato salad and an onion. And what you do is I buy those little round golden petite potatoes. You can cut them in half or leave them whole. They're very small. And you boil them off. Now, after you boil them off, and they're tender, you put them in a bowl and let them cool down a little bit and then put them in the refrigerator. And while that's doing, I get a bag of already green beans, already cleaned. Now, I blanch those off. Now, I like mine a little al dente, but if you want to cook them till well done, be my guest. And then cool them down and put them in the bowl in the refrigerator with the potatoes. And I take a nice Vidalia onion, a half, and I julienne it and slice it down, cut it in half, slice it down, just use half. And I put that in the bowl with the potatoes and the green beans. Now, after it's cooled down pretty good and get nice and cold, you add a little bit of oil, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of crushed ground black pepper, and you mix that all up. Then you put that back in the refrigerator and get it nice and cold. And it's really, really delicious. It's a good accompaniment to your grilled steak, chicken, pork chops, on the grill, or even a hamburger. It's very delicious. And sometimes she would add these little cherry tomatoes, and she would roast them in the oven, cool them down, and add that to the salad. And it's very delicious, very comforting, very cool.
Well, I like that combination.
Yeah, a little bit more refreshing than, and don't feel weighed down by the mayonnaise and all that.
That's good stuff. Good stuff, Pete. Thanks for the call. 866-391-1020. The perfect picnic. What would it be? The menu. What would it consist of? And what are you famous for? And what is a must for you? 866-391-1020. Here's Dorian in McKees Rocks. Hey, Dorian. How are you?
Very good this morning. Up early and looking forward to this Sunday, going out to Hartford for the show tonight. What I like the most is watermelon or cantaloupe, and we on the charcoal grill we make boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And actually, I like Mancini bread, but the Coons crisp bread is also. The hard bread is really one that I like too.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. Growing up Italian, we've always had Italian bread with just about anything. Unless we were having a hamburger or something, you have that Italian bread along with it. I love the nice crusty bread because I always does the butt ends of it as well. I just love that crustiness. And both, again, of course, I love our Italian bread, and again, the Mancini's is also another great product. As growing up as a kid, we'd always get the sticks, the two in a bag, and a different taste than ours, a softer crust, but also just as good.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Dorian. Have a great night. All right, let's go to Diane. Diane, welcome back to KDK. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Great show and perfect timing, and lots of great items to snag at Coons this week to help us with all of our recipes. One of our family favorites is the calico beans, and that has a half pound of lean ground bacon that naturally you'll want to make ahead of time. I like making my bacon in the oven on parchment or aluminum foil. It just always seems to turn out the best. Half pound of lean ground beef that, again, you'll want to fry up in a pan. 1 large onion chopped, a cup of ketchup, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of vinegar, 1 15-ounce can of kidney beans drained, a 15-ounce can of butter beans drained, and 1 can of baked beans that you do not drain. Fry and drain your bacon, ground beef, and onion. Mix all those together. Put it in a crock pot, and you're set to go. And with the Silver Star kibasi this week, grill up some of that kibasi, add a couple slices of that in for a little bit more flavor and spicing it up. Add in a splash of bourbon to give a little bit of a kick. and you just can't beat it. Another compliment to this, and I love that gentleman's recipe earlier. You can't go wrong with your vinaigrette type of salads, and 3-bean is one you got to make ahead of time. But I haven't seen as many picnics recently. I know it was always a staple at a lot of our family recipes and picnics that we've had. And with your watermelon this week, I just did yesterday, take a cookie scooper or an ice cream scooper and scoop them out, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer, and not only does it help stay cold, but if you want to make up that watermelon margarita, you just plop them in your blender, and it's a perfect resource to go right there. And dessert-wise, what I just made yesterday for a family reunion was a big hit. Took a pan of brownies, made up some cheesecake in an 8x8 pan, cut it into squares, put it on top of the brownies after they're done. If you don't want to make up your own homemade icing, I just took a can of store-bought icing, put it in the microwave to soften it up, pour it over the cheesecake brownie bites, and you're ready to go.
That's a whole meal and dessert all in one.
She's got it covered.
And the watermelon, almost like icy.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to make a margarita out of it, you're gonna, it's almost like having a snow cone, I guess.
Yeah, the kids love it. You put it on a plate, they stay chilled. And if you take skewers, you can even make up like little fruit kebabs with it, but they stay colder longer, and the kids loved it.
I love it.
That's a great idea.
Good stuff, Diane. Have a great 4th, and thank you for the call. All right, this is how it works. What a good way to start. So, perfect menu for a picnic for the 4th of July. Kind of old school, getting out the charcoal grill and some hamburgers and hot dogs to get us started. From Coons Market, of course, Silver Star, that great Pittsburgh brand, and some of the other items that you may want to add along the way, and something you're famous for, maybe a dish that is a must whenever you have a picnic or get together. Got about a minute before the break, so we got some lines available. So if you want to give Alonzo a call and line up, we'll get you set for the third segment, which is coming up in just a couple of moments after Rob checks the news. And again, our number is 866-391-1020. Now, potato salad, there are parts of Europe that eat it warm, but we love it cold. I must tell you, on a hot summer day, a cold scoop or two of potato salad with any sandwich, burger, hot dog, it's a great combination, Frank.
Well, yeah, the German potato salad's made with a vinaigrette, and then it can be heated up warm. It doesn't be hot, but they usually do it warm. I actually enjoy it cold. Plus, the potatoes are cut different. At least the way we make when we slice them down, almost like silver dollars instead of cutting them. But a traditional potato salad obviously is well loved here in Pittsburgh, at least in Pittsburgh, because we sell. That's one of our top 5 items in the entire deli. It competes right there against the Isley's Chipped Ham and the Atlanta Lakes American and the Silver Star Baked Ham and Off the Bone Hams. It's right up there with those. And it's just a great product. And it's I don't know, why a lot of stores don't do it, but ours is just made fresh. And that's why we sell so much of it. It's just simple. Do it right. Do it fresh. And then watch the people enjoy it.
All right, listen, right now we have some great specials underway through July 1st, including Heinz mustard, 14-ounce bottle, 99 cents, Kraft barbecue sauce, 17.5 to 8-ounce bottle, 99 cents, and the delicious all-natural family pack, fresh chicken thighs or drumsticks, the best dressed chicken, $1.29 a pound. So we've got you covered, whether it's Sunday sauce day or getting ready for the 4th of July picnic, and no one does a picnic better. Sandwich wings, fried chicken, and more, all of the deli treats. Then Coons Market. Simply call the store ahead, get your order placed in, pick it up, and you're good to go. Coming back with more and your call, so let's get going. That perfect picnic menu, 866-391-1020. And what is a go-to when it comes to your famous dish? Stay with us.
The popularity of cremation is on the rise. Unfortunately, so is the cost. I'm Dustin D'Alessandro, supervisor and funeral director. To keep the cost down, the Thomas M. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory Limited in Blawnox and the D'Alessandro Funeral Home and Crematory Limited in Lawrenceville have on-site crematories. By performing the cremation on-site without losing custody of the remains, our funeral homes can defray those costs and pass the savings on to you. Our fee for a direct cremation is only $1,250. This low-cost, direct cremation offer is available to all residents of Allegheny County. Surrounding counties will incur a slight additional fee based on mileage. Contact us with questions or to schedule an appointment by calling the Blawnox office at 412 828-5700 or our Lawrenceville office at 412-682-6500. Our websites are thomasmsmithfuneralhome.com and delisandroltd.com.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times. But when you need us, we are here for you. And we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 72 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 8:30. I'm Rob Taylor. A man has died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. Happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock. Happened in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving the tractor near Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over and Pranowicz was pinned underneath the right rear tire. State police are investigating the incident. A man died after a crash Friday night in Washington County. The coroner says 28-year-old Michael Miller of Burgestown lost control of his vehicle and hit a tree on State Route 22 in Hanover Township. He was not wearing a seatbelt. Miller was pronounced dead at the scene. Dave Parker has died. He was the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent 11 of his 19 years in Pittsburgh. He won the World Series in '79, also an MVP award, 2 batting titles. Parker was nicknamed the Cobra. He was part of the Pirates' inaugural Hall of Fame class in 2022 and will be enshrined at the National Baseball Hall of Fame coming up in July. Pirates owner Bob Nutting issued a statement saying that, quote, Parker had a big personality when his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker was 74 years old. Happening today in Pittsburgh, Open Streets Pittsburgh kicks off its 2025 season in the East End. A number of streets are currently closed to motorists until 3 o'clock today, and the event gets ready to kick off at 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. today in Shadyside, East Liberty, Larimer, Homewood, and Point Breeze. Instead, it's going to be the bikers, walkers, runners, and roller skaters who will take over the streets, having a chance to use them for a 3.5-mile course. That course will start at Highland Avenue and Alder Street in Shadyside, and it ends at Thomas Boulevard in Point Breeze. KDK Radio News Time, it's 8:32. We have the AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that's not true. As one of the largest and most successful neuropathy treatment practices in the country, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers has grown to 9 regional centers and helped over 14,000 patients, like Bill from Mars. Bill's neuropathy got so bad he couldn't sleep due to the pain and was losing his balance, causing him to have frequent falls. Then Bill found Tri-State Neuropathy Centers. Their effective FDA-approved treatment program greatly improved Bill's neuropathy, and now he's sleeping through the night, can feel his feet again, and has no more pain. Listen to Bill's complete story at marydanston.com. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help Bill along with thousands of others. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
When it comes to DSPs, usability matters. Some platforms bury you in complexity. Results-driven advertising shouldn't look like a chemistry experiment. Viant's AI-powered DSP streamlines setup, automates measurement and optimization, and keeps you in control. Less clicking, more strategy. And with proven CTV leadership across premium publishers, Viant works smarter and delivers stronger. Why are you still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be very warm and humid today with sun and some clouds, high up to 87, then partly cloudy tonight, low down to 70. Staying humid tomorrow with more clouds than sun. Couple afternoon thunderstorms which could produce damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following program is paid for by Coons Quality Market. The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
My man Troy Lampenfeld from Greater Pitt Tree Service will be here next hour. Warm-related tree plant questions, everything that you need. That's less than a half hour away, but now it's back to the Coons Cooking Hour. Picnic-related recipes, ideas, tips, tricks, and more. And a perfect picnic. What would be on that menu? Here's Pat in Allison Park. Kielbasa. How could I forget kielbasa? Hi, Pat.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I have a real good, going good, yes. I have a terrific appetizer that we're actually taking to a picnic today with 90-some people attending. First of all, you take 2 pounds of the kielbasa, whatever your favorite kielbasa is, and slice it like 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch thick, you know, like you know, the round slices.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty simple. I mean, you just 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 2 bottles of the chili sauce, and 1 can of 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. And you mix those 3 ingredients together in a crock pot and put your sliced kielbasa in there. And you cook it for like an hour on high, and then probably another 5 hours on low. And boy, people just love that. It's an appetizer, but you know, you take out some of the chunks of the kielbasa. It's really terrific.
Yeah, just grab a bunch of toothpicks and you're ready to go. I love it. Nice, that sweet and sour taste of that of kielbasa.
Everybody loves that.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that any time of year, you know, Christmas time or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot.
All right.
Very simple.
All right, Pat, we appreciate it. You have a great day today. You know, there's nothing like a family reunion, a large picnic, a large gathering. There's nothing quite like that.
Yeah, I know for our family, we do them every 3 years. And it's great to see people from across the country, really, and sometimes the world, depending who's coming in. and be able to get together and be able to, just talk to people you haven't seen forever. It's different when you're just, just family that lives around you, and when you get into the extended family, cousins and uncles and second cousins, and there's a lot more to talk about. There's totally different people, and being able to talk to them for a while instead of normally when you see these, it's usually around funerals or something like that, or weddings, and it's nice to see them an actual reunion, like where you guys are, something that's more planned. You hate going to the funerals all the time, but being able to have a nice family reunion like that is great. Of course, you're always betting on weather, so you have a secondary plan in case something goes awry. And then bringing the potluck, you become like, he's the kibasi guy. He's the kibasi. I guarantee he's the kibasi guy. So when they have a reunion or a family picnic, he's the kibasi. You bring your kibasi. I end up being at our office. You bring that pulled pork you make for the holidays.
One of the last picnics we had with your dad was at the office. We were celebrating you and, of course, Jody, the CEO. And we had down there in the garage, we had the nicest little get-together that day.
Yeah, we had our bacon cheddar burgers, the Bradshaw burgers.
Yeah, that was really cool that day. But I got to tell you, when I think of picnics, and I actually did it the other day at home just because I was thinking about your dad, the short-sleeve dress shirt that everybody knows, remember you would get when it would be hot and you have to go to church in the summer. It had the collar and it looked like the regular dress shirt, but it had short sleeves. Your dad would wear his shorts, and I know now what it's like being deprived from the sun because I'm working all the time. Very pale legs, and yes, black socks and tennis shoes. And that's your dad. So I kind of dressed up like him the other day, and I was standing in front of the mirror, and I went, "Hey, Joe, how do I look?" And I got the biggest chuckle out of it. But your dad loved picnics. He loved, baked beans, and he loved corn on the cob. And, that's why the grocery business is great. And I saw some sweet corn in the store the other day because I try to get to the stores a couple of days a week. Man, this time of year, your dad would say, everything is so delicious, especially produce is in full bloom right now.
Well, yeah, if you love whenever the stone fruit started coming out, and this and that, and when the strawberry season starts so early now, so it's hard to predict that on the spring, because you're talking end of January, February. But when you start seeing the cantaloupes, not just when cantaloupes and honeydews come in, but not from Chile, and they start coming in, but once they're starting to hit right now, like it's coming into peak, and the cherries are coming in just beautiful right now. And, those peak start of the season where that fruit's the best. And then he always loved, too, when the corn started coming in, because he loved working with the local farmers and getting them lined up and being able to produce, bring out what we actually produce all around us, where I live now is like, I see all the corn. It's about 6 inches high around us, starting to come up. But I know it's coming. It grows so fast, especially with the rain. It'll be higher than an elephant's eye and soon enough. When the corn starts.
Higher than an elephant's eye.
You remember that? Yeah, it's as high as an elephant's eye. That's how they know when to pick the corn. Now, why they said an elephant? Because nobody around here could possibly know how big an elephant is.
I actually rode on top of an elephant one time many, many years ago. During the Barnum and Bailey Circus, which came into town, a guy by the name of Gunther Gable Williams, who was a elephant trainer, world renowned, was getting us up on these elephants, and basically they would be down on their knees, and he'd go hup, and then they'd go up, and it was like being in an open air elevator. And you went from the basement to the penthouse. You don't realize how big those things are. Big, massive. And the other thing, they have these little tiny needle-like hairs on their head.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was done, I literally was soaking wet because he's like, hold on to the ears. Well, the ears are like sandpaper. So it's ripping your skin and their head's going back and forth, and there's no collar, no bridle, no nothing. You're actually holding on to the ears of this elephant, and you're like, dear God, don't let me make him mad. And you get to the end, which is like a mile, just a mile. I'm perspiring through my clothes. I get home and I look down and I'm completely bruised on the inner part of my thighs.
Oh, yeah.
From that elephant.
Just from it moving around.
Powerful. All right. Here we go. Right back to work. Michelle, Penn Hills, wants to talk picnic food with us. We'd love to hear from you, too, at 866-391-1020. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me. I caught part of another recipe a woman had, which is similar to mine, but she used ground meat, I believe. This is a beans and sausage recipe, and you have a lot of beans in it. So you drain off green beans, yellow beans, kidney beans, butter beans, and then you don't drain, of course, the pork and beans. Then you brown a pound of ground sausage with a medium onion chopped, and then I put mine in a crock pot. You put a can of tomato soup, 1 can of cream and mushroom soup, a small can of tomato paste, half a cup of brown sugar, and then you mix in the beans and sausage, and you can either bake it at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes or several hours in a crock pot, and it makes a whole lot, and you always have leftovers, and we just love it.
Oh my goodness, it comes out more like a stew. That sounds delicious.
And it could be a whole meal, like for leftovers. Sometimes it's our whole meal, and you could put a salad with that, and you're good to go.
Yeah, boy, that sounds great.
So again, and if I missed it, I apologize. Where'd that recipe come from, Michelle?
Where did it come from originally?
Yeah.
My sister-in-law. I don't know where she got it, but I got it from my sister-in-law.
Isn't that nice?
And we do make it at least a couple times throughout the summer.
And whenever you make it, you think of family and summer, do you not?
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. Hey, Michelle, good stuff. Thank you for the call. Really, really good stuff. All right, we got a couple more minutes left in the broadcast. Plenty of time for you to get on board with that perfect picnic menu. Maybe your favorite, some dish you're known for. What do you have to have? Something like Michelle was talking about for your family get-together. 866-391-1020. Troy Lampenfeld next hour is going to be here talking all sorts of warm weather-related tree and plant issues. He, of course, from Greater Pitt Tree Service. And then at 10 o'clock, it's Accurate Solutions. And today on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show, the majority of the show, Ray Fittipaldo, will join us from the Post-Gazette, former longtime Pirate beat writer and member of the Post-Gazette, award-winning journalist Bob Dvorak, as we look back at the legacy of Dave Parker, who was weeks away from being enshrined into baseball's Hall of Fame. And during his time in Pittsburgh, what an incredible player he was. MVP honors. He won himself a couple of batting titles. He won a World Series in '79. Passed away yesterday at the age of 74. So lots more still to come today, right here. Keep it on KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020.
Honored to win the Marconi Award as the best news talk station in the country. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
$3.2 million for a power plant worker with mesothelioma. $3 million for the family of a steelworker who died from asbestos-related lung cancer. Another $3.8 million for the family of a steelworker with mesothelioma. These are just a few case results that Pittsburgh-based law firm Goldberg, Persky & White have been able to get for their clients. They can do the same for you. If you're suffering from lung cancer or mesothelioma, contact GPW for a free consultation at 1-800-COMPLEX or GPWLaw.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, don't forget to get all those orders in for your delicious stuff from the deli, especially the fried chicken for the upcoming 4th of July holiday. And I'll be telling you throughout the week, and we'll be reminding you here on the radio, the giant 2-day sale July 2nd and 3rd at Coons Market. We're hip, we're cool, we're ready to dive into the heat of the summer, hotter than the 4th of July. Looking forward to all of those picnics here in the tri-state. Debbie in Cecil. How are you, Deb? Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I have a really easy dessert recipe. You take a 1 3-ounce package of the instant pistachio pudding. You're going to put it in a bowl, and then you're going to take 1 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple, and you're going to keep the juice, and you're going to mix that together. And then you'll take a 1 12-ounce Cool Whip that's been thawed, and you're going to stir that into the bowl. And then you're going to take 2 cups of mini marshmallows. You're going to dump that in there. And then you'll take 1 can, a 15-ounce can of the fruit cocktail that's been drained, and 1 like 11 or 12-ounce can of mandarin oranges that have been drained. And you're going to mix that all together. Put it in a big bowl, cover it, and refrigerate it for about 2, 3, 4 hours, and then take it out and serve it. Real easy.
Very easy.
Very easy, and it serves a large crowd, and it's something that's different.
Yeah. Plus that green color is going to stand right out.
I got to be honest with you. I love pistachio, anything, Jell-O. I mean, I always...
Rob, you could make this. It's easy.
Well, listen, don't get your hopes up. But we used to get Jell-O and get out the mixing bowl and rev it up. My sister did it for me when she liked me. Back in the day when I was a little kid, you always kind of saying, do something for me, do something for me. She would actually do that thing with Jell-O and make these big vats, these big bowls of whipped Jell-O. And it was it was absolutely scrumptious.
This is easier that though. You're just taking the mix and dumping it in the Cool Whip.
Well, you know what else you can do too when you make your Jell-O is you can take, once you've mixed your Jell-O together, take a container of yogurt and stir it in.
That's a great idea.
And then you can just put it in like ice cube trays and freeze it, or put it in like little cups and freeze it.
Well, see,
That's what we used to do.
I miss pudding pops, and that would put me down the road of pudding pops.
Remember
That's a
making
good
them
idea.
when you were younger?
We never made them. We never made them. That's why I miss them so much.
We made them all the time. Yeah, we made them all the time when we were kids with my mom.
You know, remember when that little goodie bar man would come by and you'd hear the bell and all that?
You know what? When that ice cream truck goes by now, my dogs go crazy because I don't have kids at home. But my
still
dog
have one, an ice cream
in our
truck.
old house. Yeah.
Wow. But I remember...
Yeah, we were on the country. They didn't come out our way.
Listen,
so we had to make our own.
Nutty Buddy bars, Dreamsicles, push-ups, sky blue popsicles to this day.
We used to run out there all the time. And yeah, as soon as you hear it going, we lived on a cul-de-sac. And so you heard it come, so you knew it was coming back. And you run and you look for your mom, or if she's not there, you sneak a couple $2 out of the purse, and then you run out. I can't get in trouble anymore.
You couldn't do that at my house. My dad was Sherlock Holmes. He was Columbo. That guy, he'd have like a stack of quarters on his dresser, and if you'd snatch one to go to get, he'd come in an hour later and say, "Who took the quarter off my?" I mean, I don't know how he knew it, but he always knew it. But man, when you're a kid in the summertime, was there anything better, honestly, Debbie and Frank, than an Eskimo pie?
You know what mine was? The orange push-up pops.
Yeah, I like the creamsicles, like the creamsicle ones.
Yeah.
Well, and let's not forget the all-time favorite that you got to go to Coons Market and stock up for the 4th of July, fudgesicles.
Yes.
Man, I love fudgesicles. Then you'd be like chewing on the wooden stick, man, because you just didn't want to throw it out. All right. Hey, good stuff, Debbie. I hope you have a wonderful...
Good old days.
I hope you have a wonderful holiday. But here's the thing. You can save so much money. And yeah, I know I'm a little biased, but if you go to Coons Market, you get this flyer or the 2-day sale flyer that'll be out for July 2nd and 3rd, you can go in and spend so much less and get so much more, and you take this stuff home and cook. I mean, just 2 packs of hot dogs and a couple pounds of ground meat and some hamburger buns and hot dog buns, you can feed an army. I don't think people
it doesn't
realize
take a lot of cooking knowledge to do those foods. Do things easy, do things simple, but and save the money. Use the money for something else. You don't need to use it for food. You can take that extra money that you saved on buying the groceries at Coons, and then you can go to the park. You can go enjoy going down to Kennywood. You can go to enjoy going to see a movie and all that without having to worry about all the money, because food does add up. So you save as much as you can, and you go and, you can save a lot shopping at Coons. You can download our app now, and you'll see in the coming weeks there'll be a link on the front page of our ads. But if you have the loyalty card now, if you signed up online, you can go right on there and log in and select your coupons. We have e-coupons that are out there. You select your coupons, and then you don't have to think when you're in the store. You know what that item was. You can go ahead and do it. If you have the app, you can look what ones you have, so you're buying the right products. Coming soon, we'll be having tags on the shelf to even point those ones out. So just trying to give it every possible way that the manufacturer are sending us, giving us ways to give deals. We're trying to use every possible way to give those deals to the customer and making sure that they have the chance to save that extra money, because it's tough. It's tough raising a family.
But, I used to say to my mom, how do we have all these picnics and do all this stuff for the holidays? My mom would say, food can go a long way. You just have to put some thought into it.
Right. And there's ways to stretch things out. Why do you think we had meatloaf and all that growing up? They stretch it out when you're adding breadcrumbs to stretch out the meat. It's not just for flavor or for tenderizing. I mean, there's lots to do to stretch it out. But also taking advantage of sales and using your freezer. So we have a ground beef sale. Stock up. Just make sure you package it right for the freezer so it doesn't get, frostbite. And in 1 pound packs so that you can use it instead of defrosting and then having to refreeze. It's a great tip out there.
All right, let's do one more quick call. We got Ross in Zillionople. Ross, you got about 2 minutes. All yours. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you? Great show. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, I had a quick question. A month or so ago, Frank had mentioned horseradish pickles by Boar's Head, and I can't find them in any of his stores. Is that something that's still made?
Let me double check because of they've been moved plants around and stuff, and let me double check to make sure that they're still that they are delivering them. Because after they went through their issues, they started moving vendors around, and let me double check to see if he's still able to get those. And I'm actually going to text Brian right now, the guy that delivers.
I was going to do the same thing. I could knock on his door on the way home.
Yeah, there you go.
Frank, you had mentioned how good they were.
So, my goodness, are they good? Yeah, and I'm actually got, now that I think I haven't bought them in a while, obviously. And, that as soon as I start talking about them, I crave them.
Well, let me get to a break a little early. We'll text Brian, who delivers that great product. I just saw the truck on the road yesterday, and maybe we'll have an answer for you before the top of the hour. And if not, I'll get it out as soon as possible, okay?
All right, good stuff, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, give Brian a little text. We'll see if they have that product. Boar's Head, getting ready for the 4th of July holiday. We'll come back, draw this week's winner of that $25 gift certificate. Rob Taylor with the news at 9. Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service, Accurate Solutions, and a special edition of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, looking back at the legacy of soon-to-be enshrined into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame longtime Pirate Dave Parker, who passed away yesterday at the age of 74.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
The Senate has approved a bill that would repeal the no hunting on Sunday law. The woman behind it, Representative Mandy Steele, joins us.
That's right, Larry. So the only blue laws left in Pennsylvania are that you can't buy a car on Sunday and you can't hunt on Sunday. Our forest ecologists are telling us we need more hunters out in Pennsylvania.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248 today.
Get ready for summer fun at the Elwood City Summer Festival, July 4th through the 6th. 3 days of live music, food vendors, over 100 crafters, and one incredible fireworks display to light up the night on Sunday. Bring the whole family for great eats, unique shopping, and hometown celebration you won't forget. It's the biggest weekend of the summer, and it's all happening at Ewing Park in Elwood City. Don't miss the Elwood City Summer Festival, July 4th through the 6th.
If you're turning 65 this year, review your Medicare Part C options now. You need to know the difference between Advantage plans versus supplement plans. Contact locally owned and operated Need Part C today for a free consultation. That's Need Part C. Beat the annual enrollment rush. NeedPartC.com.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
The diet can continue Monday. This is the Coons Cooking Hour on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
My man Troy Lampenfield, Greater Pitt Tree Service, arborist extraordinaire, waiting in the wings. We'll get to him after the news at 9. Warm weather-related questions, trees, plants, and more. But right now, the winner of the $25 gift certificate picked at random moments ago for this week's edition of the Coons Cooking Hour is...
This week's winner is Ross in Zelienople.
All right, Ross, congratulations. Zelienople, one of the best little communities in western Pennsylvania. And, you know, Frank and I were just kind of talking because Frank's kind of moved a little bit lately, and he's been doing it all, juggling out there near that Elwood City, Zelienople area. What do you think of some of my old stomping grounds? I love Elwood City and Zelienople.
I love it up there.
I'm telling you.
I didn't realize how busy Zelienople... I always liked Zelienople. I've been up there for a while. And now it's like 10 minutes from my house. So we go down there, and I just love that little town. You know, and
nice.
It's not really little. You know, it's a nice-sized town. It reminds me a lot of Sewickley. You know, always driving up. It's that main street I was telling you about, the Strand, that I saw Cannonball run up on the sign this morning when I was leaving.
Yeah, man.
And no, I just love it up. I just love it up there, and
Beautiful.
being the open land and being able to see stars now because it's none of the, you know, not all the lights and all that. It's wonderful area, and also Elwood City.
Great
because
town.
I'm halfway between, so I got the best of both. Then we went down to Elwood City and went to the hot dog shop last night. But again, both great towns.
Not any hot dog shop, the Brighton hot dog
hot dog shop.
That's right. That's right. And the other thing, too, is they got the big 4th of July celebration in Ewing Park. My man Nick Mancini getting all revved up for that. But you know what else they do in Zelienople? Listen, I've been everywhere, folks. Like the Johnny Cash song goes, I've been everywhere, man. They have horse trading days in Zelienople. You'll love it. And the other thing that you're going to want to check out, because I know you're into that horse thing, the Hopple family, my dear friends, have that Hopple Rodeo over the 4th of July in eastern Ohio. You may want to check that out.
Yeah, we're supposed to be going up there. I have to check with my wife.
Well, listen, that's the good thing to do. Check with your wife.
Always.
All right, Frank, thank you. Stay tuned. News at 9. Rob Taylor at the anchor desk. And then it's Troy Lampenfield. Here we go. Warm-related tree and plant questions. Greater Pitt Tree Service. Don't touch that dial.
The preceding program was paid for by Coons Quality Market.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 73 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Dave Parker has died. Legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent 11 years in Pittsburgh. He won the World Series in 1979 with the Bucks, also an MVP award and 2 batting titles. Parker was nicknamed the Cobra. He was part of the Pirates inaugural Hall of Fame class in 22 and will be enshrined into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown in July. Pirates owner Bob Nutting released a statement saying that Parker had a big personality and his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker was 74 years old. In a nail-biting vote overnight, the Senate voted to move forward with debate on President Trump's signature spending bill. Here's CBS's Christian Benavidez.
After a dramatic showdown that extended late into the night, President Trump's spending bill passed an important procedural hurdle to allow debate on his signature bill. Vice President J.D. Vance was on standby in the event he should need to cast a tie-breaking vote. But there were enough Republicans to move it forward, despite Republican Senators Rand Paul of Kentucky and Tom Tillis of North Carolina voting against it.
Residents in East Brady Borough in Clarion County are being asked not to drink the tap water after, quote, unusual water sample results were reported at a water treatment plant. Chemical found in the water is unknown, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, so officials advise it's best not to drink the tap water in East Brady Borough, Clarion County, until further notice. Open Streets Pittsburgh kicks off its 2025 season today in the East End. A number of streets are going to be closed to motorists until 3 p.m. today in Shadyside, East Liberty, Alarmer, Homewood, and Point Breeze. Instead, it's going to be the bikers, the walkers, the runners, the roller skaters that will have a chance to use the streets via a 3.5-mile course. The course will start at Highland Avenue and Alder Street in Shadyside and ends at Thomas Boulevard in Point Breeze. KDK Radio News Time, 9:03. AccuWeather forecast next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code Traffic25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code Traffic25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code Traffic25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code Traffic25.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 platinum preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be quite warm and humid today with sunshine and some clouds, high up to 87. Staying humid tonight, low down to 70. Still humid tomorrow with a couple of afternoon thunderstorms which could produce localized damaging wind, hail, and even downpours. We'll have a high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by Greater Pitt Tree Service. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
These are the people, the movers and shakers, the businesses, the people you know in your community who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Man, we had Carlos on recently, and he said, I think I'm going to get Troy to come in here because of all the things that are happening, not just with trees, but with plants, especially because of the warm weather. So, Troy Lampenfeld, he is their certified arborist, the Greater Pitt Tree Service. That's 412-884-TREE. And today we're going to be talking magnolias, hemlocks, crab apples, and the extreme heat. So if you have any questions, I highly urge you, if your plants are withering away in front of your very eyes and your trees just don't seem to have that life that they should this time of year, if you need help, this is an opportunity to get free advice from a true expert who's going to have an incredible career ahead of him. He's a real pro. He's a young guy who absolutely loves what he does, and he does incredible work. And I know how much that Carlos and company appreciate him at Greater Pitt Tree Service, as do the customers. So here's the number, 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. Troy, great to have you back. Boy, the severe heat can do a lot of damage to the outdoor living space, can it not?
It totally can, Rob, and it's great to be back. Yeah, I mean, heat can do as much damage to, the landscape around you as it can to you if you're outside all day. And trust me, it's been brutal out there. Our crew has been sweating crazy, doing hard work all the past couple of weeks. So, shout out to the crew. They're doing very, very solid work out there, as always. And this heat is no joke for people working outside. For everybody working outside, my heart goes out to you. So this type of heat can do a couple of things. For one thing, obviously, when you're looking at heat, it damages plants that are under water stress. But, we've had a ton of rain over the past couple of months. So I'm not extremely worried about water stress being an issue in this heat, but the type of weather that we've had all through this year has caused a lot of different things to be a little bit more on the rise, especially certain types of plant diseases are on the rise. First thing that I'd talk about in terms of, plant diseases that are on the rise because of the weather is apple scab on apple trees, on hawthorns, on trees similar to that, basically. When you're looking at having extreme heat directly following tons and tons of rain, extreme heat following water is a very, very conducive environment for fungus to grow, basically. And so this type of fungus called Venturaria inequalis is what causes a disease called apple scab in apple trees. And what that does is it's a foliar leaf disease. It's a foliar disease, foliar fungal disease that basically causes early leaf drop. It causes abscission of the leaves midway through summer. So you'll see crabapple trees that are starting to lose all their leaves already. They're starting to yellow off and lose leaves early into the summer. And the trees suffer because of that. When you think about how a tree gets its energy, all of the energy in a tree, one way or another, comes from the leaves photosynthesizing light. So when those leaves fall off midway through the summer, they're missing months and months and months of potential, the energy that could be taken in by photosynthesis. So apple scab is not going to kill your tree in 1 year, but over a longer period of time, it's going to stress the tree out substantially to a point where it can be taken advantage of by other issues. And getting ahead of it and managing it before that becomes a problem can be the difference between keeping a crabapple tree for 40, 50 years and, losing it after 5 to 10. Depends on the conditions that you have. But, making sure that you're cautious about how you treat your trees definitely makes a difference as to what you get out of them, especially if you have a house with really large, mature crabapple trees. That type of stress can definitely be a problem for them in the long run there. But, yeah, Rob, this heat has been crazy. It's been impacting us a lot. Basically, from working with the crew outside, it's extremely dangerous to be out there working in high heat, so we're making sure we give the crew water breaks and everything like that. But, this is a tough time to be in the tree care industry, but anytime's a tough time to be in the tree care industry, you know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you, what's the chances of actually saving some of these, when they start wilting and the leaves start dropping? If they get out there early enough, your crews, and you're on the property and kind of getting a good overview, can you save this stuff more times than not?
Yeah, it depends on the tree. A lot of the time, the biggest mistake that people make is they wait too long to call us, basically. When you're at a point where you've had symptoms for a decade or more, that tree's probably going to end up being gone. But if you call us maybe first year into symptoms or something like that with, apple scab specifically, there's a really, really good chance with certain types of treatments with fungicides and with foliar sprays that we can manage that infection and kind of eliminate that so that the tree can get back to its best health. When you're talking about wilting and damage from drought and extreme heat, if we're in a period, which we're not necessarily right now, but if we were in a period where, we've got extreme heat and no water, if a tree starts to wilt because of that, because you've not watered it for a long time, you can definitely have a tree die off due to drought stress, and it happens all the time. We take down a lot of trees that have died due to drought stress, or at the very least have been stressed extremely by drought and excessive heat, and then we have to kind of come in and take them down because they become unsafe. It's not that the tree has died completely, but if you have, let's say an oak tree 50 foot tall next to your house, and it is struggling from drought stress and it starts to lose large limbs right next to your house, there's only so much that you can do before you do have to take that tree down. So making sure that you stay ahead of things and maintain proper care of your trees is the way to keep the benefits that the trees offer you. Having large trees on a property, especially large mature trees, is a massive benefit to the property in more ways than one. First off, there have been a ton of different studies that have shown that generally being in a more green place is conducive to reduction of cortisol and stress levels and, basically increased mood, all these other things, and positive health effects. So being in green spaces and having, large mature trees, canopy cover on your property is probably better for you in general. But on top of that, you reap direct benefits like, the water that absorbs from the soil keeps your foundation from letting water and from flooding your house, basically. The shade that it provides to your house lowers your heating costs. Aesthetically, they can be extremely appealing to increase property value. All these different benefits that trees have for a variety of different things can be lost if you're not doing the proper care to maintain them and, keep them in a position where they're suitable and sustainable in an urban landscape. And that's something that people miss a lot of the time, Rob.
All right, good stuff. Listen, before we go to break, I want everybody to know we're open for business. You have any questions, you're dealing with some of these stress-related issues when it comes to your plant care and trees because of the heat. If you need help or you've been seeing something and you're wondering if it's an issue, we're here to help. So Troy's going to take your calls until 10 o'clock, Greater Pitt Tree Service. Give us a call. It's 866-391-1020. Explain what transpiration means. What exactly does that mean when it comes how trees handle heat? Go ahead.
Oh, you're coming with big words at me, Rob. That's cool. I love having a little bit of tree talk. So transpiration is basically the tree's process of water evaporating from the leaf surface. Not surface necessarily, but the tree losing water through things called stomata in the surface of the leaf, basically. And stomata are these little pores that open and close in different conditions. So when you have really, really high heat and extreme sun conditions on a tree, the stomata, in an attempt to maintain all of the water in the tree, will close up, actually. And when you have the stomata closing up on a leaf surface, it makes it so that the tree can no longer exchange gases with the outside world, basically. So, a lot of these processes, like, the byproducts from photosynthesis or hydrolysis, the management of the Krebs cycle, all these different things, the gases that they make as byproduct are no longer let out of the tree. And so, the creation of oxygen, all these different things are put on hold when the tree is unable to transpire. So transpiration is an essential, really an essential proponent of life on the planet based upon how much oxygen mature trees provide. But yeah, transpiration not only does that, but it also is largely responsible for water uptake in trees, right? So the way that the roots absorb water through that soil is not, there's no pump going on there. It's basically something called capillary action, which a lot of people might be familiar with. Capillary action basically is a small amount of water climbing up through a straw slowly, effectively. And you can think of a tree as a very large bundle of straws with the roots as absorbing straws at the base in an area of soil. So the way to get water to move from the bottom of the straw to the top of the straw is to allow the air to escape and allow the gases and the water at the top of that basically to come out, and it draws more water from the bottom. So without transpiration, the tree loses its ability to absorb water, its ability to off-put gases. Really, the whole life cycle, the whole live material on a tree begins to falter when transpiration isn't possible. So when we get these extreme heats, we have some serious problems that can occur with trees where they'll be in that state for even just a couple of days of that can be really dramatically impactful on trees. And then they get put into a position of stress. And when a tree is stressed, you have the ability to basically pull it back from that stress point to a more healthy position, which we can help you to do basically by checking for nutrient deficiencies in the soil or in the leaf surface or the live material on the tree. We can do biomass basically, but there's a lot of different things we can do to help out there, but you got to make sure to get us out there before you have the issues.
All right, listen, we got to get a break in here. Troy Lampenfeld is our guest certified arborist for our buddy Carlos and the gang at Greater Pitt Tree Service. If you have any warm weather related questions, your trees, your plants, things you notice you need help with, give us a call right now. All of our lines are open. Don't miss this opportunity. He's here till 10. The hour will go by quickly. 866-391-1020. And you can also call right now and leave your information at Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. But this is a golden opportunity to get those questions answered, heat-related questions when it comes to your trees and plants. Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service, 866-391-1020. All of our lines are open, easy access. We'll get you on the air in just a matter of moments. We'll be right back.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no-cost digital materials in place of textbooks in most courses, low-cost tuition, and over $21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Summer's here, and so is Len Lacina from Lacina Drapery and Blind Factory.
Lacina can immediately refresh your home with custom window treatments. For over 60 years, our family-owned company has handcrafted stunning draperies in our very own factory and offers top-quality blinds, shades, shutters, and more.
Take advantage of Lacina's free shop-at-home service or visit their showrooms in Dormont and Wexford. Remember, Lacina's prices can't be beat. 412-665-4900 or visit LacinaDrapery.com.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, Accurate Solutions. Next hour, then a special edition of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, paying tribute to longtime Pirate and soon to be enshrined into Pro Baseball's Hall of Fame, Dave Parker, who passed away yesterday at the age of 74. One of our guests will include Bob Dvorak, longtime Pirate beat writer and Post-Gazette sports writer, talking about the legacy of Dave Parker. And also, right off the top, usually talking football, Ray Fittipaldi, who grew up in Dormont. We're going to give him a chance to talk a little bit about Dave Parker as well. So that's just literally a couple of hours away. I hope you'll stay with us throughout the day. But right now, Troy Lampenfeld is here, Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. We're talking heat-related issues when it comes to your trees and plants. Do me a favor, Troy. Tell them about what you're doing with plant health care and how you can be out there year-round to make sure everybody is in good graces when it comes to the outdoors. Go ahead.
Yeah, so our plant health care program has a couple of different options in terms of what you can do with it, but one of the best things is to sign up for a yearly program, basically. And for the yearly program, what it entails is we'll come out, we'll get a custom soil sample for all of your different plants on the property, basically your key plants, what you need to maintain, and we'll basically install a soil management plan to make sure that those plants are performing well, are keeping themselves healthy, and are going to be around for the long haul. And I'll come back personally, basically to a lot of properties. I'll come personally to the property, check for insect and disease issues, check for nutrient deficiencies, check for a variety of different things with plants on your property to make sure that they're in the best shape possible. And in that yearly plan, I'll come out, multiple times through the season to check at different points for very important different signals, right? So there's a certain thing called phenology in the tree world, basically, and a lot of landscape management world. But phenology is basically just the timing of certain events in nature corresponding with other events. So one event that would be, kind of the signal of spring for me and many other people is the blossoming of magnolia trees. And magnolia trees are saucer magnolias anyhow, are always blooming really right around the start of spring. And that's determined by something called growing degree days, but that's a whole other mess. Either way, when you have those types of things and I can come out and I can see, okay, right now magnolias are blooming. That means certain crawlers for certain species of scale are out, and I can, do management strategy to keep those away from this plant. We really operate on a whole system for each property independently, and we'll develop kind of a system for your property that makes sense, where we get treatments that are necessary without doing too much and just going crazy on the property. And making sure that you get what you need to keep your plants in good shape and in good health, and do basically the amount that is necessary to keep you in, like Rob says, the good graces of your outdoor landscape. But managing trees with that type of integrated, it's called IPM, integrated pest management approach, is the best way to keep your trees happy and healthy in the long term, and has been for a little while now. But the science in this field continues to develop, continues to improve. Our understanding of trees on the whole is honestly quite slim compared to what it could be and I think should be. And in the future, I think we're going to be making really big leaps and bounds with that type of stuff. But we're just trying to give the most, scientifically based and well-founded care of trees and shrubs that we can to all of our clients, especially our clients that are with us on a yearly basis, because we develop a longer-term relationship with them to be the people that they come to and trust when they have an issue with their tree care, their shrub care, anything like that. So it's a very fulfilling thing for us and for the clientele, but it's always good to build a relationship, but in this way specifically, where our goal is the preservation and the beautification in some cases of urban landscapes and even suburban landscape houses, everything like that. So it's something that I've taken a very special interest in, and that the rest of the company is taking an interest in as well. So it's one of our favorite new things that we're doing here is the plant healthcare program. And if you call in and just ask for me, I can come out to your property and check it out free of charge, see what it would cost to get you on. Every property is different, but we can get out there and see what issues you might have and see what things we can do to benefit you.
Sounds good. 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. Any tree-related questions, warm weather-related issues with trees and plants, call us. Get that advice. Lines are open, 866-391-1020. Let's go to Wilkinsburg and say good morning to Ivan for Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service, Sunday morning, Pittsburgh Works, KDKA. Hey, Ivan, good morning.
Hi, Rob. Good morning. Nice to talk with you.
You too, sir.
Yeah, I just had a question for Troy Lampenfeld that has to do with a copper beech tree. I know there are certain trees that can only be pruned at certain times of year, like in the wintertime during their dormancy. Is the copper beech tree among those, or can a copper beech be pruned or trimmed at this time of year? I have a couple dead limbs that I've been wanting for some time to prune off. I can't get to them myself; they're kind of high. But I'm worried about the time of year with the heat. I'm curious about the time of year, the timing of pruning a beech tree with the heat. And the possible infestation of bacteria, bugs, etc., from pruning at this time of year.
So copper beech trees are relatively resilient. A lot of the reason that you'll have trees that can only be trimmed during certain times of year is because of caution of certain different diseases or specific vectors of disease that are more active during the summer. So almost always the very best optimal time to trim a tree is going to be either late fall through the winter when it's dormant, or into early spring while it's still dormant before bud break. But when you're looking at the types of trees that are most susceptible to serious diseases around this area, number 1 and 2 are probably oak and elm trees, because they have what's called ring diffuse or ring porous wood growth structure. Beech trees do not have that. They have more smooth structure. So, you're not looking at a very high likelihood of disease, but we have recently seen in eastern Pennsylvania, actually, we've seen reports of beech leaf disease, which is a new disease coming for many beech trees that has been extremely problematic and can damage them, can kill them. So I would exercise, a breath of caution on this, just because of the institution of this newer disease. So I would wait until probably late fall to get those pruned. But if you have us come out, I could take a look at it, get you an estimate for pruning, and then, we can get you set up on the schedule for fall during our oak and elm trim season, so that, we can get it out of sight, out of mind. It kind of will manage itself to a certain extent because it'll already be on the schedule for us. But I would put that during winter right now.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like safe, good advice. That was my thought as well. Well, I appreciate your information.
All right, can I just jump in from a late? This is for you, Ivan. What kind of tree is that, sir?
It's a copper beech. It's a very beautiful. It's one of the few largest trees left on my street. Actually, it glows a beautiful purplish copper throughout the year, but especially after it rains. It's a very beautiful, lustrous purple copper leaf.
Neat.
It's pretty unique.
It's really special. My son was just in Wilkinsburg, and he was just talking about how nice of a community it was. So, hey, I may have to take a drive and check that tree out. So have a good day, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rob.
All right, listen, we got our man here, Troy Lampenfeld. He got you covered. Whatever you need to know, heat-related issues when it comes to magnolias and apple trees and your plants, give us a call. Lines are open at 866-391-1020, or you can call and set up an appointment and become a part of that plant health care program throughout the year. 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. But you got to get those questions in now while you can. He's here till 10, 866-391-1020. We'll be back.
Are you experiencing discomfort, a bulge, or pain in your abdomen or groin? It could be a hernia, and early detection is key. Independence Health System invites you to join them for a free hernia screening. Their expert team will be on site throughout the month of June to answer your questions. For locations and to reserve your spot, call 1-877-771-1234. Press 3. Don't wait. Untreated hernias can lead to serious complications. Independence Health System. Expert care. Here.
Colin Dunlap on KDKA.
Just because somebody builds a circus doesn't mean you need to walk into the tent. This kind of nonsense only stops if people step up and kind of resist it and go, stop it. There's pregnant women. That's it. There's not pregnant people. Yes, women are people, but come on. They're pregnant women. Men aren't pregnant. End of story.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 74 degrees in Pittsburgh International at 9:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Residents in East Brady Borough, that's in Clarion County, are being asked not to drink the tap water at this time. That's after, quote, unusual water sample results were reported at a water treatment plant. Chemical found in the water is unknown, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, so officials advise it's best not to drink the tap water until further notice. Well, a man died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. It happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving that tractor on Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over. Pranowicz is pinned underneath the right rear tire. State police are investigating the incident. And Dave Parker has died, the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent his first 11 years in Pittsburgh, winning the World Series in 1979, also an MVP award, and in 1977 and 78, 2 batting titles back-to-back. Parker is nicknamed the Cobra. He was part of the inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class in 2022, will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown come July. Pirates owner Bob Nutting released a statement saying that Parker, quote, had a big personality and his passing has left an even bigger void with those who knew him. Parker was 74. KDK Radio News Time, 9:31. Next updates at 10. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio KDK.
Asbestos-related deaths in Allegheny County are 50 to 100% higher than the national average. In a city defined by its history with steel making, many local area tradesmen and steel workers were exposed to asbestos on the job and are now suffering from lung cancer or mesothelioma. If you have been diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation even if you smoked. For a free consultation, contact the Pittsburgh-based law firm Goldberg, Persky & White at 1-800-COMPLEX or online at gpwlaw.com.
The weather is heating up, and so are the great savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. Save with your Coons Reward Card. All natural pork baby back ribs, $2.99 a pound. Whole seedless watermelons, $3.99 each. And selected varieties of budget saver pops, 12 to 18 count packages, $2.99 each. Additional savings in our meat department. All natural fresh chicken thighs or drumsticks, $1.29 a pound. And frozen, ready-to-grill swordfish steaks, 8-ounce average, $4.79 each. In our produce department, fresh southern sweet corn, $3.99 a dozen. And sweet Northwest cherries are $1.99 a pound. In our deli department, Heat and Serve Coons Ham Barbecue, $4.99 a pound. And old-time oven-roasted turkey breast is $8.99 a pound. And this week, selected varieties of Kraft barbecue sauce, 17.5 to 18-ounce bottles, 99 cents each.
So get into Coons Market for these hot savings now. Coons Market, your neighborhood grocer. Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
It is going to be very warm and humid today with sun and some clouds, high up to 87, then partly cloudy tonight, low down to 70. Staying humid tomorrow with more clouds than sun. Couple afternoon thunderstorms which could produce damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, high up to 85. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by Greater Pitt Tree Service.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, back with Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. Cannot recommend it enough. You got plant health care year-round. Let them come out season after season. The reason? You'll be in good shape if you make the call and get signed up for that. But now, if you're dealing with any heat-related issues and you got some concern because of trees and plants just not looking up to par, give us a call. He'll take your question right now. You'll get some free advice for just making a toll-free call at 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. All right, so let me ask you, somebody would right away think, okay, just water the trees more. But how should you water the trees? And, you know, we've talked about volcano mulch in the past and how deadly that can be. But some people say mulching, if you do it right, can help trees basically store some water by filling up that mulch with water. So talk about watering and heat-related issues and how you should go about it to help your trees and plants. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, so watering is definitely something that needs to be done for younger trees a lot more, I would say. So it all depends on the individual tree, on the texture of the soil, on the type of soil. The best way to just check whether or not your tree needs water is basically to go out, put your finger into the soil 1 or 2 inches deep into the soil and check whether or not it's got sufficient moisture in there. Because if you try to stick to something like, water twice a week or water once a week, depending on the type of soil you have, if you're watering twice a week and you have extremely dense clay soil that's going to drain very poorly, you're going to cause root rot and you're going to have issues with the tree that you wouldn't have otherwise had that you caused watering. But if you have extremely sandy soil that drains very, very quickly and, you're watering twice a week, you may be fine. Additionally, it matters more really even what species of tree you're looking at as well. If you're trying to look at a willow tree and you have a weeping willow that you are dumping water on, you're watering it very frequently, provided that you're not going crazy and doing it every day, you're probably not going to overwater it easily anyhow. But that tree loves water. It's extremely hydrophilic. It's a tree that grows, it's what's called a riparian species. species that grow in lower areas closer to riverland that are more tolerant of flood conditions. The same thing with sycamores or London plane trees that you'll see around. They're more tolerant of water. They love to seek out water, and they'll have a lot of success in areas near rivers. If you look by any one of the 3 rivers in Pittsburgh or any creek or stream, I guarantee you will find at least one London plane tree or, most people call them sycamores because it's more, colloquially available. But when you're looking at watering, the prescription is very specific to the type of tree and the type of soil that you have. So the best way to do it is just to go out, check if the soil is moist. If the soil is moist and it feels as if it's holding a fair amount of water, that pore space, the air in between the little particles of soil, is relatively inundated with water, then you're fine and you don't need to water. If it feels a little bit more dry, maybe consider watering in the next day or two. But with heat, checking that more frequently is more important because that soil is going to dry out faster. Same way you would with a garden or anything like that. If you have an extreme heat wave, you water the garden more frequently. If you have rain every single day for a month, which, that sounds familiar, maybe you don't need to water the garden quite as much, right? So it depends largely upon the situation that you're in as to where you want to do any kind of watering. But like I said, if you're overwatering, it can cause just as many problems as if you are underwatering. So, don't get overzealous about it because many issues with plants, many issues with trees, even potted plants inside, come from basically human-caused issues, things that we do to try to manage them that end up causing us and the trees more harm than good. So make sure that you're careful about what you're doing and just taking an educated approach as opposed to just trying to do more.
Okay.
Because more is not always better in this case.
All right, good stuff, Troy. Let's get to Roz in Crafton Heights. Wants to talk about her maple tree. Go ahead, Roz.
Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not sure if this is heat related, but since there's not too many people, I'm calling about it. I have a young Japanese maple tree. And I noticed I have it protected from the deer with that hard plastic thing around it. And I noticed a woodpecker on there. And for some reason, I saw it peck at the trunk. And I went over there, and I noticed that there are the tiny ants are on it. And I see that the bark is pulling away from like the pulp inside. I don't know if that's heat related or what, but I want to know if it's something I can do to repair that or put that back together. And it's in a couple different spots. I know they're probably going after the sap.
Yeah, on a Japanese maple, you really don't want to see exfoliating bark, or you don't want to see bark coming off the tree, rather, because it doesn't naturally have, like a silver maple, a larger tree, you'll see bark exfoliate and come off of the tree, and that's very normal. But when you have loss of bark on a smooth bark species like a Japanese maple, you're probably looking at some kind of issue. Depending on how young it is, it may have had some kind of impact damage at the nursery or in transit that caused like cambium cells underneath those areas in the bark to die off before it was.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I grew it from a baby, just to let you know that.
Oh, perfect.
Like it was a seedling,
yeah, I mean, if you grew it up from a seedling, it's interesting. It may have had other types of impact damage, but when bark is dying off like that, you're either looking at impact damage or you're looking at damage to the root system, which then impacts basically the health of the vascular system above those roots. So it's questionable, but having bark falling off of the tree is not a great sign on that. When you have bark falling off the tree, you don't want to pick at it, but having it sitting on top of the tree while not being attached, or on top of there while not being attached, is also not ideal. So a lot of the times tracing around the area where the bark has come off and basically cutting a smooth line around it to help the tree have an easier time covering that over with new growth is what people will do to try to mitigate the impact of that. If you have us come out, for a consultation, I can probably help you out and do that potentially while I'm out there if we need to. But that's something that, I'd want to see with my eyes a little bit before I made any judgment calls on what caused that necessarily. But how to manage it, what caused it only matters so much now that the bark is dying back. How you manage it is really going to be more important there.
And there's no, if you cut your finger and you put the flap of skin back down, there's no doing that. None of the bark has fallen off. It's just almost separated in areas.
Yeah.
There's no, it won't adhere anymore, right?
No, when it's delaminated like that, that's because some of the cambium cells or other, the cells attaching the bark to the rest of the wood have died off. And trees don't heal in the same way that people do. Trees compartmentalize decay and then grow around. So the Japanese maple should compartmentalize the decay that's on there and then continue to grow outward with secondary growth, and eventually that'll get covered over with new growth. And ideally, depending on the extent of it, it won't be that much of a problem. But leaving the bark on there can be more harmful than it can be beneficial, because if you put the bark back on there, it just traps moisture in that area and leaves a more conducive environment for fungi to live, leaves an area where insects will lay their eggs, and then those eggs will make galleries through the wood and bore through the wood. So you can have more issues leaving the bark on than you can taking it off a lot of the time. But how you take it off makes a big difference, because if you tear into live bark or areas of the tree that weren't damaged, you're spreading the decay more substantially, and you're causing a larger issue than you had to start with. So it's a little bit finicky, but I would not, I wouldn't recommend leaving the bark on there if it's delaminated and you have the option.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. Good stuff. Listen, we got another call waiting in the wings. We're going to get to Jack on the other side of the break. Troy Lampenfeld is here. Greater Pitt Tree Service, 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. If you want to get a question in before the hour is up, number to dial is 866-391-1020. Greater Pitt Tree Service, Troy Lampenfeld, certified arborist till the top of the hour, 866-391-1020. We'll be back.
The KDKA Mobile News Fleet is driven by Jim Shorkey Kia, North Huntington and Wexford. JimShorkeyKia.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248 today.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, wrapping it up with Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service. If you have a question for us, 866-391-1020, or you can call them directly. And don't forget to ask about that year-round plant health care, and that number is 412-884-TREE, 412-884-8733. Jack in Carnegie, go ahead, sir.
Hello, Troy and Rob. Long time listener to your shows. Troy, I have 7 skyrocket junipers, and I put them up about 5 or 6 years ago as a wind block. And with all the wind and the rain that we've had, I have several of those skyrockets that are leaning towards one way because of the wind and the softness of the ground.
When you have that much rain, this is an issue that will happen. Is you'll have basically the roots will be, the newer roots that are growing out into new soil are just reaching into soft soil that isn't really sustainable for structural stability on there. So, I mean, a lot of people will recommend staking there if necessary. That's probably the route that I would go on this, is tying those up with arbor tie if you have the option to. Is it located somewhere where you have access to putting, stakes around it, or are they kind of closed off?
Well, the problem is that I planted them as a wind block, so they're approximately 3 feet spaced between each other, but there's very little room between the skyrockets. And I don't want to. I know I could drive the stakes in, but I don't want to damage roots also by putting the stakes in the ground.
Yeah, you'd have to be careful with that. The best way to go about that, if you do have to use the stakes because they're starting to fall, what you want to do is you want to drive the stakes in, but basically dig a hole first and cut the root. Any roots that you would run past, try to make sure that you're as far away from the trunk of the tree as possible. But any roots that you would run past there, you would want to dig in and then cut them as cleanly as you can with hand pruners, and then install the stakes into that hole. And then from there, tie, not, you don't want it like a clothesline really tight to that post. You want it relatively loose so that in any direction, if the tree is to start falling, then the line will tension. You want it so that in normal conditions, the tree is not under any tension, so that the tree can still develop roots that are designed to help it stay stable. Because the last thing you want to do is have this tree effectively walking on a crutch while it's small, and then when it gets large enough and it outgrows the stakes and it no longer has that additional support, it'll be more likely to uproot and fail. So making sure that the tree has a sustained point of support without having constant tension on the line, keeping it from moving, is an important thing. The natural development from wind pressure is something that trees need to keep themselves stable. So robbing them of that can be a big issue when you're looking at staking and support systems. But I would still recommend doing the stakes, because if they fall over, they're no use, and they're not going to block the wind. They're not going to keep themselves up. So using stakes is probably your best bet here, depending on the age of the trees, anyhow. But
yes. Troy, the trees are fairly big. I mean, they're about 12 foot tall right now. And like I said, there's very little room to work. Do you guys do any of that kind of work, trying to stake them up or anything like that? Greater Pitt do any of that work?
It's not something that we typically do, but I could come out and give it a look. And if it's something that I feel like I can just get done myself, I'll do it myself, and we'll just handle it that way. But give me a call and we'll see if we can set that up. And if not, I can come out there at the very least and give you, the most pertinent advice. I can give you a list of materials that would work well, everything like that, if that's the route we want to go down. All right?
Very, very helpful. And you can look at the health of the trees also. You may want to recommend something for the health of the trees in general.
Yeah, of course. If there's something going on that needs managed, I'll be out there. I'll help you out with it, all right?
Appreciate it, Troy. Thanks, Rob.
All right, buddy, you're welcome. We're getting real busy here in the final moments. Let's do one more call. Let's head to that great community of Munhall and say good morning to Beth. Beth, you're on the air with Troy Lampenfeld, Greater Pitt Tree Service. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you both?
Good. What's your question?
I have several fruit trees in my yard. They were there when I bought the house. And I'm wondering what the best season is to prune them. They all need pruned, and I don't want to create a problem for them fruiting. I just don't know when the best time is.
Yeah, so if you're looking to prune fruit trees, it depends on what you're using them for also, because if you're using them kind of as a hobby orchard and you want to collect all the fruit from them, you don't want to cut it off while it's still developing the fruit, obviously, and you don't want to cut it basically after the flowers have come out. Then it's starting to develop the fruit on there. Those flowers are turning into fruit, basically. So you want to wait until directly after harvest if you're looking at, edible fruit trees specifically. That makes it so that you lose the smallest quantity of your harvest and the smallest quantity of basically invested energy. So when a tree is developing all those fruits, they're putting a massive amount of resources and energy into the fruit and into the flowers. So I've
noticed that they even have less green. I've noticed that there's even less leaves whenever they're fruiting. They I have a cherry tree, the fruit has fallen off now, or the birds have all eaten it, and now it's starting to get a lot of leaves. Like the leaves were sparse while it had the fruit on.
Yeah, trees, energy expenditure, I like to think of it kind of as a pie chart where, you can slide one piece of the pie one way or the other to increase the size of one or the other, but you're taking away from something else. So investing in fruit growth sometimes does take away from overall leaf mass just based on the availability of nutrients in the soil as well. But when you're looking at the pruning specifically, I would definitely focus on pruning after fruit has been harvested if you're looking to improve the harvest. And make sure, if you're pruning yourself, make sure you're cutting back to lateral branches that are at least 1/3 the thickness of the other branches on the portion that you're taking off, so that it can take over that growth and you don't have problems with epicormic stress growth on there.
You mean like at a point where there's a branching? Take it back to that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
You want to cut it back to a branching point because making internodal cuts can cause a lot of problems for the tree.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Beth.
Thanks for calling.
You have a great day. Hey, we're out of time, Troy. Always a pleasure. Let's do it again real soon, okay?
Of course, Rob. Thank you very much.
There he goes, Troy Lampenfeld, young man who definitely's got a plan. He is such a pro. And Carlos and I just love spending time with him on the radio, and I know you'll be pleasantly pleased if he comes out to your property, especially that Plant Healthcare. You sign up all year long. They keep an eye on everything so you don't get in any trouble, and if there is trouble brewing, they can fix it for you on the spot. And if you're dealing with anything when it comes to your trees, remember Greater Pitt Tree Service. They're the people down the street. They did your neighbor tree. They grew up here. They know the turf, the landscape. They know what trees need and what they don't need. But when you need them, they'll be there for you. The number is 412-884-TREE, 412-884-TREE. That's 412-884-8733. 412-884-8733. We got some really good things coming up. Next hour, Accurate Solutions. And then our special edition of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show dedicated to the life of Dave Parker, who is set just weeks from now to be enshrined in the Pro Baseball's Hall of Fame, one of the greatest Pirates ever, who passed away yesterday at the age of 74. So stay with us throughout the day, early afternoon, and always right here at KDKA 100.1 FM, AM 1020. Good morning.
The proceeding was paid for by Greater Pitt Tree Service. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
The Senate has approved a bill that would repeal the no hunting on Sunday law. The woman behind it, Representative Mandy Steele, joins us.
That's right, Larry. So the only blue laws left in Pennsylvania are that you can't buy a car on Sunday and you can't hunt on Sunday. Our forest ecologists are telling us we need more hunters out in Pennsylvania.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
The Shindig Charity Music Festival, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at Union Brothers Brewing in Harmony. 18 bands over 3 days.
Proceeds benefit local first responders and Northwood Charitable Foundation. Car show Friday night, craft and vendor show Saturday, first responder demonstration Sunday.
Single day tickets, weekender tickets, and weekender tickets for Keg and Eggs starting at 9:30 a.m.
Surprise guests, amazing raffle prizes, great food and brews. Bring your own lawn chair and a non-perishable food item donation.
Tickets also available at the door. Get your details at theshindigmusicfestival.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
The Pittsburgh Speaker Series presented by University of Pittsburgh announces its 25-26 season at Heinz Hall. 7 events will broaden your perspective and deepen your understanding of the world around you. Featuring Dr. Anthony Fauci, Malcolm Gladwell, historian Doris Kearns Goodwin, former Russian political prisoner Vladimir Kara-Murza, and geopolitical economist Pippa Malmgren. The series is sponsored by News Radio KDKA and the Spanos Group of Raymond James. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghspeakers.org.
If you're turning 65 this year, review your Medicare Part C options now. You need to know the difference between Advantage plans versus supplement plans. Contact locally owned and operated Need Part C today for a free consultation. That's Need Part C. Beat the annual enrollment rush. NeedPartC.com.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 75 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 10 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Dave Parker has died, the legendary Pittsburgh Pirate who spent 11 years in Pittsburgh and winning the World Series in 1979, also 2 batting titles and an MVP award. Parker, nicknamed the Cobra, was part of the inaugural Pirates Hall of Fame class of 2022 and will be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown coming up in July. Pirates owner Bob Nutting released a statement saying that Parker had a big personality and his passing has left an even bigger void with all who knew him. Parker was 74 years old. A man has died after a tractor he was driving rolled over in Westmoreland County. Happened Saturday afternoon around 3 o'clock in Upper Borough Township. Police say 74-year-old Dennis Pranowicz was driving the tractor near Fawn Hill Lane when it rolled over and Pranowicz was pinned underneath the right rear tire. State police are investigating the incident. Residents of East Brady Borough and Clarion County are being asked not to drink the tap water after, quote, unusual water sample results were reported at a water treatment plant. The chemical that was found in the water is unknown, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, so officials advise it's best to not drink the tap water until further notice. Well, popular weight loss drugs are now getting the green light to prevent heart disease. Here's reporter Brad Gibson.
The American College of Cardiology is now recommending weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound as a first line of defense for obese patients fighting heart disease. Cardiologist Olivia Gilbert.
We can reduce death in individuals with these medications with achievement of weight loss of 15%.
The impact, says Gilbert, could be big.
These are an opportunity for patients to have a jump start, to be their best selves, and to have a new lease on life.
Brad Gibson for CBS News.